Now Colorado State won the toss. Interestingly enough, they deferred. That is C.W. Hurst. He will kick it away for the Rams, moving from left to right. The sun has come out here at Miles High Stadium. The shadow just about 3/4 of the way over the field, and we are underway. And he booms it, and that'll be out of the end zone. And Colorado will begin 1st and 10 from their own 20 to begin the 1999 season and the Gary Barnett era. There is 24-year-old Mike Machete, the oldest member of the team, and he was the Big 12 Offensive Newcomer of the Year in 1998. And the line for the Colorado Buffaloes, Andre Girard, the center. He anchors the heaviest offensive line in the history of Colorado, 310 pounds. Offensive line coach and offensive coordinator Tom Cable says this could be the best ever he's ever coached. And in the running back and wide receivers, Dwayne Charrington gets the start at tailback. 3 will play that position. He had 100 yards rushing last year. We did have a penalty on that play. It was against Colorado, and that pushed them back 10 yards. It was a personal foul, so Colorado will have 1st and 10 from their own 10.
And if you're Colorado, that's not the way you want to start off this game.
Mike Machete, a quarterback, sacked 39 times last year. He was banged up. And they keep it on the ground. Charrington doesn't get much. And the Colorado State defense, they will have their hands full tonight. Their right defensive end, Clark Hagens, he's on track to set a new Colorado State sack record. Linebackers, Rick Crowell, he is the most experienced of the young linebacking core. And in the secondary, keep an eye on Eric Olson, who plays like a linebacker. It is Charrington again over the right side, gets up to the 17-yard line. Pickup of about 6 on the play.
The #1 emphasis for Colorado in spring football and in training camp was running the football. They came out tonight, the first 2 plays were runs. They want to establish toughness and tempo and on-line of scrimmage domination as early as possible.
Offensive coordinator Tom Cable says he'd love to see his guys get 4 yards every time they run the football. It is 3rd down. Machete to Toller, complete up to about the 18-yard line, or Javon Green, I should say, and he's hit hard short of the 1st down. And the Colorado State defense really stood up to the challenge on the opening drive.
Colorado State's defense on those first 3 plays were what we call alive. Running around with abandon, and running around fast. And this linebacker, Rick Kroll, is the leader of this fast group.
And that'll set Nick Peach back to kick it away. The senior out of Seattle, Washington, was honorable mention all Big 8 last year. You see the numbers on him. And Dallas Davis will be back to receive it, standing on his own 32-yard line. Not much of a rush. Peach will get it away, and it is a short kick. Davis runs up, calls a fair catch. It hits, didn't touch anybody. Penalty flag is thrown, and his ball is being downed at about the 44-yard line, but we do have a flag right at the 45.
When you call a fair catch as a punt return man, you are allowed a 2-yard space in which you can catch the football. And I believe that a Colorado cover man knocked into him, which did not allow him to go catch the ball.
37 yards on the kick. Not a very good effort for Peach. And we listen in.
Disregard the flag. No foul on the play. 1st down, Colorado State.
And our referee is John Laurie. Let's take a look at it again.
And that was an accurate call by the official, because watch as Davis comes up. His own man gets in the way. And when that happens, it's not a penalty. Will Lane interfered with Davis trying to catch the ball.
And Matt Newton, the junior out of Inglewood, California, Cherry Creek High School right outside of Denver, takes over his first official start as a Colorado State quarterback. He's going to put it up right away. The quick pass is incomplete. Well, he's out of Inglewood, Colorado, Cherry Creek High School. Newton played 1 full game last year in a reserve role. He passed for over 245 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. And the line had to have a little shifting around. Tim Stuber will be starting at one of the tackles. Stuber definitely epitomizes this football team. And he's got a line that he's going to have to try to keep that big defensive line of Colorado out of the picture. McDougal, the lone setback. Colorado jumps offside.
Justin Bannon, number 97, looks like he jumped, and he admits it here on national TV by pointing to himself. Colorado State uses a non-rhythmic cadence. The defensive linemen from Colorado, the just got to watch the football, especially early in the game.
A lot of that is emotion, is it not?
Absolutely.
70,000 plus.
Hey, and everybody's fired up and wants to do well, but nose guards are closest to the football, and they should watch the ball.
Second down and 5 situation. You would think that Colorado State would be a little bit conservative offensively with a new quarterback. But coaches say they're not going to be conservative. They're just going to play their football game. Svoboda in motion. McDougal, the ball is on the ground. Colorado State appears to have gotten it back, but they'll lose about 5 on the play. And the rest of the Colorado State offense, and they have to rush the football. They have to follow behind that big line. Borvansky will be starting at center. Stuber will be starting at that strong tackle spot. And, of course, the running backs and wide receivers. Kevin McDougal, you cannot underestimate the importance of him running the football today.
And the way you stop McDougal from running the ball is what just happened, is to penetrate in the backfield before he can get going.
Third down and 10 for the Rams. They were 37% in this situation last year. Penalty flags are thrown. Whistle is blown. And the play will be stopped. Boy, Colorado, I tell you, they showed right away. They're coming in from all sides.
Well, they're not going to sit and wait and to make something happen. They're going to make something happen on their own.
Dead ball. False start offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
Now let's take a look at that Colorado defense. Senior Fred Jones will be at one of the ends. A very common name with an uncommon game. He is relentless. The linebacking core will be led by Jay-Sean Sykes. Everything funnels toward him on defense. Out of the secondary, Damon Wheeler. He combines with Ben Kelly to provide Colorado with probably the best cornerback tandem in the country. Third and long, 15 for Colorado State. They were facing 3rd and 5. Newton straight drop, has a rush, lets it fly, passes incomplete, almost intercepted. Damon Wheeler had it hit off his hands. He thought he had the Oski.
Colorado didn't waste any time in blitzing. They come after Newton in the first passing situation of the game. Newton drops back. He's under a little bit of pressure, but he just misses on the throw to Davis. He's got to do a better job of drilling that football in there, but that's jittery nerves there, Ron. Yep. That's guy just being a little bit nervous. He'll settle down as this game goes on.
Dion Horinek, the punter, number 6 in the NCAA last year, is kicking away to Ben Kelly. Colorado was number 4 in the NCAA in punt returns last year. And this is a dandy. A lot of hang time. Great kick by Horinek. Has a little backspin at the 5. They'll mark it at the 7. What a kick by Horinek. 54 yards, but the hang time, Artie, was awesome. We have a timeout. 11:55 left to play in the first. Cam the Ram and the Buffaloes are scoreless. Along with Artie Gigantino and Eric Clemens, I'm Ron Thulin as we see Gary Barnett begin his coaching stint at the University of Colorado. We are scoreless. Just about 3 minutes gone by here in the first. Charrington in the tailback spot. Javon Green is in motion. Charrington will try the right side of the line, that big offensive line. We talk about 310-pound offensive line for Colorado. Ironically, Gary Barnett, I think if he had his druthers, Artie, would like a Denver Bronco kind of line, 285, 290.
Well, defensive teams right now in all of football, pro and college, do a lot of movement. And sometimes big guys don't move as well. One of the staples of the Broncos, it's like the San Francisco 49ers. They've had smaller offensive linemen, but they move so well, and they do a great job of blocking on the perimeter. I think that's what he wants to get to.
Charrington, the tailback, he has the football. Tries that right side and just following behind the blocks of Brad Bedell and Shane Cook. Eric Olson has to come up from the strong safety spot, the senior out of Ventura, California, to make the stop.
And, you know, Tom Cable has really stuck to his game plan here tonight in terms of running the football up inside. I think it's because of field position a little bit. If the ball had been around the 40, maybe you would see Colorado open it up a little bit more.
3rd and 5, Colorado about 39% converting it last year. 3 wide receivers to the left. Colorado State shows blitz. They dump it off to the left side, and the pass is complete to Stiggers. Shaken and Bacon finally goes out at the 30. And that is exactly what they were hoping to do. Just catch Colorado in that blitz. We have a penalty flag on the play, but they caught him on the blitz. They dumped it out, and they beat the big rush.
High percentage pass to get Machete into the flow of throwing the football. It's a good call.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Colorado State. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
Well, you put about 10 yards on the lateral plus the penalty. That's a 25-yard pickup.
And you know what you have to do, though? You have to get into rhythm in the game. Machete takes the ball. He throws it out to Stiggers. He gets a couple of good blocks. Stiggers does a good job of running with the football after the catch.
The senior out of Dallas, Texas, was timed at 4.18 in the 40.
I wish I was there to see that.
Oh, man.
I've never seen a guy run a 4.1.
That's when you check your watch.
Yes.
First and 10, balls on the 46. Colorado moving it offensively. Daniel Graham, the tight end, in motion. Buffs keep it on the ground. They're bouncing it around. Charrington gets into Colorado State territory for the first time this evening. Charrington did not practice a lot. He had some injuries again during the summer camp. And just about a week ago, Gary Barnett said, hey, listen, if you don't play in our scrimmage Friday, you're not going to be starting against Colorado State. And he healed up quickly.
He healed up quickly, but he was the most consistent guy in terms of all the assignments and all the things this offense asks a tailback to do. That's why he's starting.
Pickup of 6 on the play. Again, Graham dancing around. Charrington hit immediately. Greg Pollard, the senior out of Gardena, California, came from nowhere and lowered the boom on Charrington.
That was a power play off the corner, and you're going to see Pollard at the top of your screen come right off the top. Nobody blocks him, and he just nails Charrington in the backfield. That was an excellent defensive play, but it was also a missed blocking assignment because nobody blocked Greg Pollard.
That sets up a 3rd down and 7 situation. 4 wide receivers for Colorado. Machete, 3-step drop, and it's intercepted. Rick Kroll, he may go all the way. Touchdown, Colorado State. Rick Kroll, the Butkus Award candidate, the senior out of California, had 1 interception last year. He has 1 this year, and it's good for 6. 54 yards on the return.
The coaches love Rick Kroll because he's so smart and he's so intense, and he knows how to anticipate offensive plays.
First for the extra point. And Colorado State has shocked Colorado. Sonny Lubick loves it. 7-0, the Rams on top of the Buffaloes. But there's plenty of football left to be played from Mile High.
Fox Sports Net.
I talked about at the beginning of the game, Mike Machete's better off rolling to a corner. What you're going to see now, he drops back 3 steps, and he throws a quick slant here. But Rick Kroll is sitting right there, and he reads it, and he picks it off. Colorado State is in it too deep. Machete doesn't see Kroll. Kroll makes the perfect interception, heads for the near sideline. Touchdown, Colorado State. A lot of that had to do with Kroll being in the right spot, but a lot of it had to do with Machete not being able to see.
Well, Colorado State was telling us last night they did not receive any film, obviously, from Colorado, and they weren't sure what they were going to run. But you think about the big hit in the backfield and the interception, they're guessing very well right now.
Yeah, you know what? That film stuff sometimes is overrated. They had a pretty good idea. And in the opener, you got to get ready for everything anyway. You bring out your scholastic coach.
First kicks it away, and he booms another one. Goodbye. And Colorado will begin again on their own 20-yard line offensively.
You know, now Hurst is a huge weapon right now because he is taking away an element of Colorado's offense, which is their kickoff return. So right now, Hurst is as valuable as anybody on the field.
Well, Eric Clemens talked about at the top of the show about how special teams will have an impact. They're taking the special teams right out of the picture right now with Hurst kicking it into the end zone. 7-0 our score. Colorado State on top of Colorado. Mike Machete intercepted by Kroll, his 2nd interception of his career, first for a touchdown. Cortland Johnson, number 27, is now the tailback. Machete, again, the quick pass to the big tight end, Daniel Graham. He picks up some yardage. Now, for a Dr. Pepper game break, let's send it back to Kevin Frazier. Kevin?
Ron, Florida, taking on Western Michigan in the swamp, and Doug Johnson concentrating on football only now. He's on fire. Travis Taylor, jump. He pulls down the touchdown, the third for Johnson in the first half. Let's go back to Denver.
All right, thanks, Kevin Frazier. That was a pickup of 10 on the Machete to Graham pass. We're going to be talking a lot about number 89, Daniel Graham, the big tight end. He is a dandy, and he's in motion right now. They keep it on the ground with Cortland Johnson, right side, barreling his way in for 3. It's about an hour and a half to Colorado State, and a lot of fans have come down, and Eric Clemens has joined them. E?
All right, well, some people might think I'm in dangerous territory, but not at all. These Colorado students in a great mood. The Colorado State crowd gets the return. Hey, I got a question. Are you going to get revenge for last year? Well, guys, you heard it here first. Back up to you.
He'll say anything to get out of a crowd safely. 2nd down and 7 after a pickup by 3 by Johnson. This time they try the left side and running room again for Johnson. Slips one tackle, crosses the 45 up to the 48-yard line before Eric Olson brings him down. Olson, the big, strong safety, plays like a linebacker but has speed.
Cortland Johnson is a slasher. He's better running outside than inside. Gets an excellent block from Brandon Drum and picks his hole, gets up the field, slashes his way to a positive gain. He does the perimeter run better than he does the inside run because of his slashing ability and his speed.
Well, that Colorado offense returning 9 starters. We have a timeout called by Colorado State. And we'll take a timeout as well. 8:14 left to play in the first, and the Rams lead the Buffs by a touchdown. We are back at Mile High Stadium where Colorado State leads Colorado 1st and 10 for the Buffs. Ball on their own 48-yard line. Minardi wide to the left. Machete looked for him. Now he pulls it down and runs it. Up to the 45-yard line, Eric Olson again on the tackle. Artie, that is a classic case of giving Machete a style of offense to play that he can pull it down when he sees an opening.
Right, but he's smart enough and he's well coached enough to take off because he made a potential negative play into a positive. And that's sometimes a negative for him because 4 times last year he got carried off the field because he got hit in the open field.
39 times he was sacked. He picked up 7 on that play. Johnson, right side, this time he's going to be stacked up for absolutely no gain. We're going to talk about the importance of rushing the football, but for Colorado, this is something we've heard for a couple of years. But last year, they only averaged 123 yards rushing, 88th in the NCAA. And one thing that they want to improve on, and Tom Cable said, running the football, they do it by practicing it.
Well, it's a crusade more than anything else right now for Gary Barnett and Tom Cable. As we look at Tom, the offensive line coach, he's done a great job. He's a big old guy, and I'll tell you, he looks like an offensive lineman. He's done a great job with his offensive line.
3rd down and 2. Machete will put it up again. Pass is complete. Good enough for a 1st down. Marcus Stiggers again, the senior out of Dallas, Texas. Good protection for Machete. A lot of time.
Well, you got a big old offensive line in front of you, and look at everybody across that line. Just form a pocket. Machete steps up, sees the passing lane, and throws the ball. This is a great view of what the safety sees, and obviously the ball is thrown a little bit low. It's very tough to knock passes like that down.
Well, Colorado's been running on 1st down. Let's see if they put this one up, and they do. Machete looking over the middle. The pass is incomplete, intended for Miles Kuhn. Ula Tuatelli, the middle linebacker, the senior out of San Bernardino, California, lowered the boom after the ball was tipped.
Excellent athletic ability that time by Ula Tuatelli. You're going to see Machete drop back. He throws the football up the field, but you're going to see Tuatelli get up and just tip the ball. Excellent, excellent job. And then John Howell finishes it because the receiver is open game once the ball has been touched by a defensive lineman or linebacker.
On 2nd and 10, this time the running game. Johnson tries to dance his way around, gets up to about the 35-yard line, pickup of 2, sets up a 3rd down and 8 situation. And this is exactly what the Colorado offense didn't want to have happen, a 3rd and long.
Last year, Colorado was 38% on 3rd down. Tom Cable wanted to be in 3rd and 3s and 3rd and 2s all year long. And the way you get that is to have success on 1st down. It'll be interesting to see what they do here.
Inside of 6 minutes to play here in the 1st. Machete, plenty of time, dumps it out on the flat. The pass is complete to Johnson. He is going to be upended after a pickup of about 3, well short of the 1st down. Jason Gallimore, the sophomore transfer out of Wheat Ridge, Colorado, the backup strong safety on the stop.
Give Larry Kerr, the defensive coordinator, the credit for that stop. He fooled him a little bit. He played a soft cover 2. The ball was thrown underneath. Gallimore came up and made the play. Excellent defensive call.
And Jeremy Aldridge is on for the field goal attempt. It'll be about 49 yards. He was only 3 of 8 outside of 40 last year. And this time he's just going to pooch kick it as they fake it. Looks for the corner. He's not going to get it. Interesting play by Gary Barnett. Well, Gary Barnett's going to talk it over again with Jeremy Aldridge. Well, Rick Kroll had the interception for the touchdown for Colorado State, but he might be injured. Eric, you have an update for us.
Yes, I do, Ron. I tell you what, when you run 54 yards on a kind of warm day like today, you kind of come down with cramps. That's what happened to Rick Kroll after that 45-yard interception return for the score, but he is fully expected to return to action later in the game. Back to you guys.
All right, Colorado State takes over, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. We haven't heard much of McDougal. Newton's going to roll out. Dumps it off, pass is complete up to about the 27-yard line. Pete Rebstock, the sophomore out of Englewood, California. Gain of about 7 on the play. Sets up a 2nd down and 3. Rebstock, part of a receiving team that Colorado State coaches said the deepest they have had in years. Now it is McDougal trying the left side. Gets a good block. Gets to the outside. Has Kelly to beat. But he is run down by Michael Lewis, the strong safety. That is the Kevin McDougal we saw 2 years ago.
Because that's a healthy Kevin McDougal. And that's what he can do. He can get the ball up the field. It's a little stretch play to the outside on the left. He gets the ball. He sees a hole. He gets up inside. And he does a great job of running up the field and making a very violent ending to it. You're going to see number 86, Kelly Wolfram, do a great job of kicking outside.
That was a pickup of 28. Then they try the right side, and Rashidi Barnes has to bring down McDougal as he crosses the 40 down to about the 38-yard line.
You know, Ron, going back to that last play, the tight ends in this Colorado State running offense are critical to blocking for guys like McDougal. And that when McDougal gets 100 yards, Colorado State wins football games.
Well, they only rushed for 78 yards last year on 38 attempts. Much better so far this evening, and we're still in the 1st. On 2nd and 2. Newton dumps it off, and it is going to be intercepted. No, incomplete. It is dropped. Drew Walrus, the redshirt freshman out of California, had it right in his gut, and he dropped it. Well, premiering Sunday, September 12th at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 Pacific. It's the NFL This Morning. Host Chris Myers is joined by 7-time All-Pro Jackie Slater and 2-time Coach of the Year Marv Levy. They'll get you up to date on all the NFL news and the preview of upcoming games. That's NFL This Morning, Sunday, September 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. Check your local listings. Sonny Lubick now with a 3rd down and 2 situation, closing in on 4 minutes left in the 1st. Colorado looks like they're coming, and they are. Colorado State picks it up. Newton's arm is hit as he releases. Brady McDonald, I think, got a piece of Newton's arm. McDonald, just a very steady defensive end, a junior out of Quinn, South Dakota.
Fred Jones applied pressure from the other side, but you are correct. Brady McDonald was in his face and knocked the ball down. Now you're going to see Colorado State punt here, but it's important not to kick the ball into the end zone. You want to coffin corner this kick so you get great field position and you make Colorado go 90 yards.
Well, Horinek, one thing he does well is have great hang time. On Thursday, he had 12 punts with a hang time of about 5 seconds. And he gets this up high in the air. Fair catch is being called for right at the 10-yard line. 28 yards on the punt. Now for a Dr. Pepper game break, here's Kevin Frazier.
Ron, Wyoming in Knoxville, and the Cowboys don't blink. Great catch by Tommy Nash, but then watch how he finishes. We're tied at 7. A shocker so far in the first quarter. Let's go back to Colorado.
I'm shocked about that, Kevin. I thought it would be about 24-0 at the end of the first quarter, but Dana Dimmel does a great job of getting his football team ready to go.
You and I spent some time with Dimmel the last couple of years, and you know his team plays the entire time. I know that's the cliche, but they are a hard fighting group. First and 10, ball on the 10 for the Colorado Buffaloes, trailing 7-0. Machete just throws it out on the flat up to about the 14-yard line. They'll pick up 4 on the play. And obviously we're seeing a sense of what Colorado's doing. They run, then it's the short pass. Is that a West Coast offense?
Well, it is and it isn't. I think the word West Coast offense is a confused word in football terminology. This is Colorado's version of it. Now, as you look at the Colorado coaches up here, they're communicating down to Tom Cable and giving the tendencies that the Colorado State defense is showing.
After the pickup of 5, they go back to the ground attack, and Cortland Johnson is going to be stacked up. They obviously are committed to the run, though.
They are, but the run sets up everything else. But the good thing for the Colorado State defense is they know it. Now, Gary Barnett knows to bring this Colorado football program back to dominance, you got to run the ball in the cold weather in November and December, and he's got to get it going right now.
2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. On 3rd and 5, Machete trips. He is being rushed. Steps up, lets it fly, and the pass is going to be incomplete, overthrown. Clark Hagens really put the pressure on from that right side, and Machete had a step in the pocket. But the Colorado State defense already did exactly what they wanted to do. They kept Machete contained in the pocket.
They kept him contained, and Clark Hagens, watch him here, number 96, he comes up the field, and he jumps over a blocker, and he puts the pressure on Machete, which makes him step up and throw the ball poorly. That's just great athleticism by Hagens.
Cortland Johnson had no shot at blocking Hagens on that play. Dallas Davis standing at his own 40-yard line is Nick Peach. Standing right on the end line. Set to kick it away. Not much of a rush. High wobbly kick. Davis should return this at the 42. And he is going to be pushed back 2 yards. And we have a penalty flag thrown. Well, I think that was an inadvertent flag, as we called, and we're supposed to disregard it because the official has picked it up. And Colorado State, Sonny Lubick will begin 1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line, leading 7-0. But isn't it time now that Sonny Lubick has got to get something going offensively?
Well, what you don't want to do, though, you don't want to make a major mistake like the Colorado offense made a major mistake. Keep playing the way you are and get the rhythm of the game going.
And the running game goes. McDougal, goodbye. "59 yards for Kevin McDougal, the senior out of Arvada, Colorado. They call him a tackle breaker, a pure north-south runner. We heard him at the top of the show saying there's nothing fancy about it, and there wasn't.
That's the kind of guy he is, though. Old-fashioned, up and down the field, and just see the goalpost and run over anybody that gets in the way.
First with the extra point, and it is good. Last year, Colorado State had high expectations, and they were blown out. This year, year. They came in hungry. They lead. Still in the first quarter, 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, and Colorado State is shocking Colorado, ranked 14th in the country, 14-0. And again, Hurst takes the kickoff return away from Colorado. Let's take a look at the blocking on that run.
This is a zone play. You're going to see McDougal get the ball and come here. But the key guy is David Showett here, who blocks Ty Gregorek and allows McDougal just to cut the thing back. Great job of coming off the block, making the block, but the vision of McDougal is just excellent in finding his hole. Good job up front and really, really nice job of running.
If you're Colorado, one thing that I think the coaching staff of the Buffaloes was concerned about, Colorado had a good defense last year. Now they come in and they change things. They were worried about getting the trust of this team. Do you think the trust of the Colorado players are saying, why aren't we playing last year's defense?
Well, I think that's part of it. But, you know, first games are tough to make the adjustments, and everybody's got to get used to the system. This is more of a zone system. It's less blitzing than it was a year ago, and Gary Barnett and the defensive coaches were concerned about this. I talked about this at the beginning. The one thing Sonny Lubick and his staff have going for them is they know themselves, and they know their players, and their players know them. Gary Barnett's going to grow into knowing his team, and his team's going to grow into knowing him and his system. But that man right there, Sonny Lubick, does as good a job of coaching as anybody in the United States.
Well, we didn't see a penalty flag, but they're going to have to re-kick it. And Hurst is going to tee it up again, and there is McDougal. Once again, last year, 78 yards rushing. McDougal on one play gets 59.
And 94 already today in the first quarter. And he's a wonderful young man to talk to. He's what college football is all about.
Kelly is back to receive the kick. The line drive right to Kelly, and he's going to take a knee, wisely so. Boy, they're just not letting Kelly or Wheeler get on track.
The best kickoff coverage is the ball that can't be returned.
And Colorado will go back on offense. Machete, if you've just joined us, has been intercepted by Rick Kroll for a touchdown. That made it 7-0, and then McDougal on the big scamper just a moment ago to make it 14-0. But Machete, one thing we learned about him last year, this young man is a fighter. Former baseball player in the Oakland A's organization. As Damian Barton has checked into the lineup, the third tailback to see action. He wears number 22. Barton, the fastest of the tailbacks. Machete, the quick pass out of the flat. It is complete to Stiggers. Pickup of maybe 5 on the play. Oh, that's Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. It's Hardcore Football on Fox Sports Net. This week's guest is ex-Bronco quarterback and future Hall of Famer John Elway. Elway's career included many spectacular moments right here at Mile High Stadium. That's Hardcore Football Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. Check your local listing. Brian Greasy had a pretty good game last night for the Broncos as they beat the 49ers. Machete again, flips it out, passes incomplete, almost picked off, intended for Brandon Drum, the redshirt freshman fullback. Looked like it hit him on the left side off the pads.
And that could have been, like you said, a disaster. One of the things Tom Cable, the offensive coordinator, wants to do today is throw the quick flare-out type passes, which that was an example of. You look at Tom Cable calling the plays from the field. He communicates to his quarterback coach and his tight end coach up in the box.
Well, Colorado State wanted to contain Machete, no big plays, and hold the Buffs to rushing at about 125 yards. So far, I think they're 3 for 3. Third down and 4 for Colorado. The pass is complete. First down to Javon Green, the junior out of Inglewood, California. He is going to become, I think, Machete's go-to guy this year, like Darren Cheverini was last season.
He averages 13.9 yards per reception in his career. He's a big-time player. He's 6'2", 195 pounds, and he's a guy that I think people like the size of this type of wide receiver in college and in pro football today. The bigger type of wide receiver, which he is.
And he's had a great summer camp. First and 10 now for the Buffs. Whistle, flag is thrown, no play, and Machete takes a hit. And we'll find out what the problem is. Speaking of Darren Cheverini, he's having a pretty good camp with the Browns, is he not?
Yes, he is. And his younger brother Ryan is a backup safety here for Colorado.
Yeah, we wish him the best. He was one of our favorites. Penalty will go against the Colorado Buffaloes. Last year they had somewhat of a problem with penalties, averaged about 79 yards against on penalties a game.
And you know, Ron, they had 89 total. They had 89 total penalties, but it's when the penalties occur is which kills you. Now watch what happens over here. Big old Vic Rogers, who's an excellent player, just gets a little bit jumpy and he moves a little bit too quickly. Rogers is just an outstanding player, just made a mistake on that play.
He has overcome 6 surgeries to continue to play football. Again, Cam Graham goes in motion. Machete, straight drop, has some pressure. Has to scramble, has to dump it off. The pass was intended for Graham and is incomplete. Threw it behind him. The Colorado State secondary last year, I think even the coaches would admit, was a little inconsistent. What are they doing right tonight?
Well, they're playing a lot of zone. You're going to see a bunch of zone tonight because they don't think they can match up from a man-to-man standpoint. Now, you're going to see Mike Machete react. Oh, man, hey, you got to stop, he's telling him. You got to come back a little bit. That's where I threw the ball. But that was good coverage again and a good zone concept by Colorado State.
2nd down and 15. Stiggers was in motion. Machete steps up. Try to contain him up to the 35. Dives ahead to the 37. Greg Pollard was right behind him. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. And we saw Pollard, 6 foot, 265 pounds. Here's a young man that's overcome so many obstacles. He said UCLA told him he was too short to play. He said, but I have a huge heart, and that will overcome my height.
He played defensive tackle last year. They moved him to defensive end because of his athletic ability and his ability to run quarterbacks like Mike Machete down, which he just did. That was a great example of why he plays defensive end instead of tackle.
Again, Colorado facing 3rd and long. It's at 11. Green wide to the left. Machete, the straight drop over the middle. The pass is complete to Hollowell. 1st down. The 5'6" sophomore out of Denver, Colorado, had 9 receptions last year. He's a great blocker, but he is a tenacious receiver.
Watch what happens here now. Colorado State gets their linebackers up in there, and they're faking blitz. Machete sees it. He drops back. Hollowell, number 5, comes from the inside. He's in the slot right there, and he runs. He makes the catch behind the linebackers. The reason he got behind the linebackers, they were up in the line faking a blitz.
Now 1st and 10. Big pickup. Great throw by Machete. And they're going to keep it on the ground with Barton. Nothing doing. Ula Tuatele was a backup the last 2 years, making the most of his first official start. That's kind of surprising. Colorado outgaining them by about 60-some yards, 59 yards.
They're making some pass plays. And, you know, Colorado State has had 2 big runs, which has accumulated, or, you know, accounted for 96, most of that 96 yards.
Well, those numbers are only for guys that play the fantasy league. The important number is what's on the scoreboard. Colorado State, after 1, now leads the Buffs 14-0. 2nd quarter straight ahead. Spirit Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado, as the in-state rivals, Colorado Buffaloes and the Colorado State Rams, are meeting for the 2nd time here at Mile High, and it is a shocking 1st quarter. Colorado State up by a couple of touchdowns. Their last win over Colorado was back in 1986. That came in Boulder, Colorado. Right now, the Buffs facing 2nd and 8, ball on the 39-yard line of the Rams. Colorado State showing the blitz. Here they come. Machete steps up and is dropped. John Howe, the free safety out of Mullen, Nebraska, was penciled in to be a starter last year, injured his hamstring, and ended up redshirting. But they said he's come back with a vengeance.
Watch the blitz here. Now watch Howell. He's going to come up in here, and he's going to read this guy's block. The tackle is going to set up. He's going to block out, and Howell is going to come to the inside. Machete gets contained. Howell makes the sack. Great design and great execution.
Loss of 9. Here come the Rams again, and Machete dumps it out to the left side. Pass is complete. to Damian Barton, crosses the 40 down to the 38-yard line.
You know, going back to that last play, at practice on Wednesday, Larry Kerr, the defensive coordinator, spent a lot of time talking about zone blitzes, and that's what that was. And what it does, it puts a lot of pressure on the offense.
Machete favoring his leg as he comes off the field. The backup quarterback right now is Adam Bledsoe. Of course, Drew Bledsoe's younger brother. And he is over there talking to Machete right now to make sure he's all right. Nick Peach set to kick it away, standing at his own 48-yard line. Davis again set to return it. He's at the 8. Nice high spiraling kick. And it'll go out and be marked at about the 9-yard line. A 29-yard kick, but don't be deceived. That is an excellent kick. Machete, is he injured? We'll find out when we return. 13:30 left to play in the first half.
On that sack play, Mike Machete drops back, watches left leg. It goes up in the air. Clark Hagens falls on it, but then big old Victor Rogers, his own tackle, 315 pounds, falls on top of him. So that's about 550 pounds on poor Mike Machete's left leg.
That's on a good day, 550. First and 10, balls on the 10 for Colorado State. McDougal already with a long touchdown run. He is upended behind the line of scrimmage by Damon Wheeler, the left cornerback. He is probably the most energetic player on that defense. What a great story. This young man, married, has a couple of kids, always has a smile on his face. His children come to practices, and the coaches have fallen in love with this young man.
He plays hard. He's out of Sacramento, and he's an excellent blitzer. And look for him to blitz a little bit tonight off the corner in passing situations.
One thing this Colorado coaching staff noticed about the Buff defense when they took over this is the speed, and Wheeler's one of the quick ones. McDougal and Wolstenholme in the backfield, and it is McDougal again. Banging his way on the right side, just lower in the boom, trying to find a little opening. Jay-Sean Sykes, the inside linebacker or hawk linebacker. Artie, you were a defensive coach. Here they come in, they start naming the linebackers, the drop, the hawk. They have a rush linebacker. How confusing is that for a player?
Well, you know what? We used to have names Sam, Mike, Wanda, and Liz. Liz and Wanda were on the weak side, and the guys' names, Mike and Sam, were on the strong side.
We heard some of your former players had names for you, too. I may be wrong. Third down and 9 for the Rams. Colorado coming with a bunch of black jerseys, and McDougal again! What an incredible performance by McDougal. Colorado saying they have the football, but I think he was down. He calls himself a mudder. That's M-U-D-D-E-R.
One of the dangers of blitzing is sometimes it opens running seams. That's exactly what happens. He runs away from the blitz on a pitch out and just hits it off tackle, gets upfield for about a 12-yard gain.
Well, officially, they're going to call it 16. He has 6 rushes for 116 yards.
Wow, look at that. 112 tonight. 78 last year. I'd say this guy is healthy and back.
Newton hasn't had to throw a whole lot. Dumps it off in the flat at the 30-yard line. Pass is complete to Dallas Davis. That is a great play. It's a conservative play for Newton. Probably, I wouldn't say an easy pass, but it's a
high percentage pass. And it gives him a chance to get into the flow of the game. And Colorado that time was playing a soft zone. Sonny Lubick knew it. They throw the ball outside and hope that Davis can run the ball after he catches. Now, the pressure when you play zone comes to the defensive linemen like Justin Bannon here because they don't have any blitzing linebackers to help them rush the passer.
Second down and 4. Rebstock wide to the left. Frank Rice in motion. Fakes to McDougal. Gets it to Rice. Has the first down. Goodbye! It's a foot race with Kelly. Rice is going to win it. He tore his ACL last year. He worked with a personal trainer in the summer. Newton, his first touchdown pass at 99, and it covered 67 yards. A major upset in the making. Hurst to get the extra point. Low snap, but they're able to get it up and in. Matt Newton showed no pressure, a lot of poise. He hits Rice, and Colorado State leads the number 14 team in the country. Gary Barnett has to be shell-shocked right now. This is not what he expected.
I think everybody's shell-shocked. I mean, we expected Colorado State to come in and play well and to try to run the ball, but nobody thought it'd be 21-0.
Now Colorado will get a chance to return this one. It is Kelly weaving around, gets up to the 22-yard line, and things are getting a little frisky, but let's take a look at that TD again.
The running of McDougal sets this up. Watch the fake up inside, number one. But watch this guy right here, Blaine Sayapoli. He's going to come around, and he's going to throw the key block on Damon Wheeler, the cornerback. Now, Sayapoli weighs 310. Wheeler weighs about, what, 175. He just makes a dominant block, which allows Rice to get up the field. Well-designed play, but it's just a key block by a big man right there.
Well, he is the most athletic offensive lineman they have, and they showed it. Now Colorado has to go right back to their game plan. They're not going to change it a whole lot as Charrington is checked back into the lineup.
You know what's going to happen here tonight now? The weather is going to energize Colorado State. They're not going to get worn down because it's a beautiful night and it's not nice and cool out here. Colorado had better regroup right now because Colorado State is playing with a frenzy in their mind.
Well, they had the first 12 plays scripted. They wanted to stick to their game plan. It's still early that you don't want to dump your game plan. Here comes Colorado State on the blitz, and Machete gets out of it, still alive, and then he's dropped. John Howell had the first hit from the free safety spot.
Ron, it was the same blitz as before.
Larry Kerr, the defensive coordinator, was very relaxed last night. His game plan seems to be working.
There's old Larry right there, and he is as good a defensive coordinator as there is in the United States of America at any level.
He had a chance to go other places, but he decided to stay with Sonny Lubin. 3rd down and 21 for the Bucks. Machete, straight drop. Has to scramble, and he's going to be dropped again. Jamie Bennett, the junior out of Cleveland, Ohio, had 1 sack last year. He has one again tonight.
You're going to see this through the eyes of Machete. Colorado State's playing it too deep. He's got nowhere to throw. There's 7 guys back there in zone defense. He's got to tuck the ball, scramble around. The defensive line scrambles to him. That is a covered sack, and Gary Barnett knows it.
Well, Colorado wanted to confuse Matt Newton. It looks like Colorado is the one who's confused right now offensively. Peach standing in his end zone. This could be returned by Davis. At the 50, cut to his right, has some room. Knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. It has been a great evening for the Rams of Colorado State. 3 touchdowns. Here's the first.
Rick Kroll picks it off and finds the end zone. Great job of seeing the pass thrown. But then it's the running game that sets the tempo for Colorado State. Kevin McDougal finds the end zone. And the play we just saw, just an outstanding throw and an outstanding catch to Frank Rice, and he runs it all the way in. Now this punt return sets up some momentum also for Colorado State because you got Colorado back on their heels on their own 35-yard line.
It was a 40-yard kick, a 17-yard return, and a timeout by Colorado State. Sonny Lubick wants to talk about it with his young quarterback. They said they wanted to run the football. They've been successful. It has set up everything else. And the Rams lead 21-0. We are in the second.
But right now, let's get it back to Denver and Ron and Artie.
Thank you, Kevin. We've got a shocker going on right here with 8:14 left in the first half. 1st and 10, ball on the 35. We have penalty flags.
Dead ball. False start offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeats first half.
Eric Clemens, you're on the sidelines of both Colorado State and Colorado. What's the mood of the respective teams?
Well, I was on Colorado's sideline a few moments ago. Everybody's kind of walking around with a somber look, wondering what the heck has hit them. I tell you, it's a buzzsaw called Colorado State. 3 huge plays so far in the day, and you can see guys walking around the way they're talking to one another. Their belief is at an all-time high right now. Ron, back to you.
Newton complete to Davis. He is hit immediately. Maybe a pickup of about 6 inches. It has been, to say the least, a very difficult week for this young man. For Gary Barnett, the head coach. On Monday, one of his former players at Northwestern, Matt Hartle, passed away. Yesterday, Barnett flew to the funeral. Came back late last night. Tears were in his eyes when he talked to us, and you can tell he was attached to that young man, Artie.
He's a player's coach. Players love him. He loves his players. That's what makes Gary Barnett so special.
He is the true professional. McDougal just lowering his head and knocking over Jay-Sean Sykes, which isn't an easy task.
You know, going back to Gary Barnett, though, that's why guys like Gary Barnett are so successful. He said, that's why I'm in coaching. And Sonny Lubic's the same way. This man loves his players. That's why he did such a brilliant, brilliant job at Northwestern. But he also knows, coming into Colorado, it's not like it was when he left back in the McCartney era.
He doesn't want to be a finesse team. He wants to be a power team. Right now, his team's on defense, 3rd and 10, pumped by Newton. He's going deep into the corner of the end zone, has a man, and overthrows him. Pass was incomplete, intended for Frank Rice, who already has a long touchdown pass. And Colorado State will have to kick it away.
As this game goes on, you're going to see Matt Newton get more and more confidence in his ability to throw the ball, because the guys like Rice can run under it and make big catches for him. You're seeing a great amount of poise for a youngster that's never started a big game before in Matt Newton, and you got to like that.
Horinick set to kick it away. He's at the 50. Ben Kelly standing at his 10. Colorado was 3rd in the NCAA in punt returns. This one almost hits the top of Mile High. Gets a great bounce. What coverage by Colorado State. You can't get any better than that, I don't think, Artie. And you were a special teams coach. You have to love something like that.
Well, it's just an excellent kick. But what it is, it's a smart play by Terrence Gibson, because he knew where the football was. And I'll tell you, this guy right here, Dion Hornick, is going to be a star in the National Football League at the next level. Now watch Kelly. He's trying to fool everybody. He's saying, I'm going to make the catch, but the ball's really behind him. But Gibson is so smart. He's standing right there on the end zone. The ball comes to him. That's why the ball's on the 1. Heads up, but also good preparation by the coaches.
A little movement in the backfield. No penalty flag thrown. Straight ahead. Up to the 5-yard line, and the Buffaloes have a little bit of breathing room. You would expect that this big offensive line of Colorado would just run right over Colorado State. Why are they not doing it?
Well, you know, their past history has been more finesse. A lot of these guys were recruited by the previous coaching staff to be pass protectors. That's why Gary Barnett wants to change the mentality of these big bodies into being more run blockers.
Again, straight ahead. They get some running room and a first down. Portland Johnson on the carry. It's a Labor Day weekend festival for football fanatics on Fox Sports Net. Tomorrow, number 15, Arizona heads to Fort Worth to take on the Horned Frogs of TCU. That'll be at 7:30 Eastern. And then on Labor Day Monday, Tulane versus Jeff Bauer's Southern Mississippi squad. That'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then Ricky Williams and Texas Tech travel to number 25 Arizona State at 8 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be a great weekend for college football. Check your local listings for games in your area.
Well, those are 3 great games.
Oh, boy, I think seeing Ricky Williams, Texas Tech, you know Spike Dykes has something up his sleeve going on the road.
And, you know, Arizona State's always good, but it's going to be interesting to see if the University of Arizona can come back and rebound from that disaster up at Penn State.
One of the things that Colorado wanted to do, Artie, was not necessarily run more. They wanted to run better. They wanted to be balanced. Are they achieving that tonight, or because they're down they can't do it?
Well, I think pretty soon they're going to be throwing the ball a lot more than they anticipated, because you're going to have to start playing catch-up. Right now, they're not achieving it, though.
On 1st and 10 from the 11. Pass is complete up to the 22-yard line, and that is where it is marked as Daniel Graham comes up with the reception.
Ron, that's what I was talking about Machete and what he does so well. It starts with the snap. He gets on the corner. He comes to his right. He takes about 5 steps. He throws the ball to Graham in the flat. That's called the West Coast offense. That's called timing of the West Coast offense. But that's also what Mike Machete does well. Get him on the perimeter.
And he also uses his tight end, which is so important in a West Coast offense, and he's got a great one in Daniel Graham. Pick up a 10 on the play, 1st and 10. Machete's pass, look out, and it is intercepted. Down to the 5, to the 4. Higgins, did he get in? No, at the 1. Higgins tipped it, intercepted it. And he had all that 255 pounds motoring towards the end zone. Machete can only shake his head.
Gary Barnett can only say what happened. Now watch Machete come back. You're going to see Higgins off the left of your screen athletically go up, bobbles the ball, and he comes down with it. But then he looks like Bronco Nagurski trying to get into the end zone. And you know what? That's only fair that he should have scored with that. Now, here it is again. What athletic ability that time by Higgins. Presence of mind to go up and get the ball, but determination then to get into the end zone. You gotta love that determination.
Second interception of the game for Colorado State. Newton's going to call a timeout. We have to mention, too, that, you know, Machete is not the tallest of guys, and he doesn't exactly throw from the top. He kind of drops down every now and then.
Machete's 5'10" at the best. Higgins is an excellent athlete. That's 6'4". He's a little bit more like 6'5" when I stood next to him the other day. But he's a leaper. He gets up in the air. That's what you want with defensive linemen. Out of Palos Verdes, California. And I'll tell you, there's some schools out there, USC and UCLA, that wish they had this guy playing for them right now.
He is a 2-time All-Leaguer. And one of the concerns of Colorado was blocking him.
Well, they're not doing it right now, but Mike Machete, again, we've talked about it, is better with the movement-type passes than passes in the pocket.
Well, they got out of a hole, then they gave it right back up with 5:37. Colorado State knocking on the door again, already up by 3 touchdowns.
But this whole thing was set up, though, by the great punt coverage and the downing the ball on the 1-yard line.
Absolutely. Special teams, as Eric Clemens talked about early, played a factor.
And defense right now for Colorado State.
1st and goal from the 1. Straight ahead, McDougal, did he get in? Yes, the second effort. He set it up. McDougal finished it off. And that man can only shake his head. Hurst again for another extra point. He was 5 for 5 last year. Total, he's 4 for 4 tonight. 28-0. We are still in the first half. Sonny Lubick, his team came in hungry, and they're showing it.
You're going to see 17, Leon Smith come across, make the block, but it's determination and violent running here by Kevin McDougal, who will not be denied.
But it was set up by the interception.
And watch Higgins right here. Get up in the air, find the ball. Presence of mind, and Machete tries to tackle him, and he can't do it.
Minardi tries to tackle him, but Higgins goes 15 yards on the interception return down to the 1. Set up McDougal's 1-yard plunge, and Sonny Lubick has a 4-touchdown lead, but he's an old war horse. He knows this baby is far from over.
Far. Hagan's going to be bugging Sonny next week because he's going to want to play offense. And there's the guy he's got to talk to, Steve Fairchild, who does an excellent job with this offense.
And Colorado State will kick it away again to Hurst. When they were going from left to right, he booted them all in the end zone. Going up against a little wind in that left end zone might give Kelly and Wheeler a chance to return, which is something they have not been able to do so far tonight. 5 touchbacks so far, and this one, kiss it goodbye. Eric Clemens, we've had a surprise so far. How about updating us on what we've seen so far?
Well, guys, I tell you, talk about a surprise. How about Rick Kroll, the big play number 1? McDougal, a big play on the long touchdown run. He's over 100 yards already. We got a way to go before the half. Colorado State, you see the big 111 in rushing yards to Colorado's only 60. Right now, it's 28-0. And again, I'm over here on the Colorado sideline. Everybody's looking around wondering what has hit them. Guys?
And that is the hero offensively. It is McDougal. He's had a long run. He banged in from 1. Colorado on their 20, just under 5.5 to play in the first. Machete. And he's going to be dropped at the 22-yard line by Greg Pollard. It seems as though that the offensive line of Colorado is almost on their heels.
They are a little bit. They're a little bit soft right now because their emphasis has been a lot more run than pass this past camp and this past spring. They're big guys. They've done a good job on pass protection. But I give a lot of credit, though, as to why Machete's getting sacked to the secondary and the linebackers from Colorado State. They're playing zone, and he's got nowhere to throw, Ron.
They're giving him a gain of 1. 2nd and 9, 3-step drop. Machete's pass off the fingertips of Stiggers. One thing about this Colorado State defense, I think you can say there are no huge stars, but there are some of their parts. Larry Kerr has a great way of trying to get angles on people.
Well, Larry Kerr is a good football coach. As you see the offense talk about some of the blocking schemes on the sidelines, but the offense and the defensive coaches at Colorado State do a brilliant job with the players that they have. Just like today, their starting center was injured. Nobody blinked. Gravonsky goes in, and he's doing an excellent job so far.
3 wide receivers to the left on 3rd and 9. 1 to the right for Mike Machete. He's looking to the right. Pass is complete right at the 30 to Javon Green. And in there where they mark it, it should be a first down. It's right on the line, and that's where he needed to get to.
You made a great point about Larry Kerr, but one of the things that helps him is Sonny Lubick was a good defensive coordinator in his day at Miami. And I'll tell you, Sonny Lubick still coaches the defense. In fact, I was kidding him the other day at practice. He takes the safeties and coaches them during practice. I said, Sonny, you're the highest paid secondary coach in all of college football. But he said, hey, I just love to get down and dirty, and he does it every day.
He knows what national titles are all about. Cortland Johnson now in the backfield, 1st and 10. Closing in on 4 minutes left in the half. Colorado trying to get something going offensively. And Johnson is tripped up as he crosses the 35 by Rick Crowell. We saw Crowell intercepted. Now we see a great open field tackle.
Well, Crowell's got 188 career tackles. You're going to see him come up, number 6, balance up, and just reach and grab him by the ankles. Now Larry Kerr will probably complain a little bit about Kroll leaving his feet, but you know what? Hey, that was a good play because you got the guy down.
Forget schemes. It comes down to tackling on defense.
Especially in the open field.
2nd and 3. Machete pumps, trying to scramble again. Trying to keep him in the pocket. He tucks it down, gets the first down up to the 43-yard line before Rick Kroll again comes up with a stop.
Machete improvised that time. He had nowhere to throw the ball. He ducked it. He got outside like John Elway has done many, many times on this field and made a negative into a positive. This young man is a very intense competitor and will not settle for anything but the best. He's a type A personality that's a great, great competitor.
Tuatelli really put the pressure on, but it's good enough for a first down for the Buffaloes. Colorado State showing blitz. Machete dumps it out in the flat to Stiggers. He is knocked out of bounds in Colorado State territory, and that might be good for yet another first down. How important is it for Colorado to get something on the board with 3:05 left in the half?
You want to go into halftime feeling good about something. And if you score at the end of the half, you're going to go in on a high. If you get a touchdown and you make this 28-7, you're back in the game. Now, the interesting thing, though, about this drive is Colorado's throwing the football. They're not running the football. They are throwing the football on this drive.
Graham, Toller, and Cedric Cormier have checked into the lineup for the Buffaloes. 1st and 10, ball on the Ram 46-yard line. Colorado State linebackers are moving up to the line of scrimmage. Here they come again. Machete in the flat. It is complete. Pickup of 4. Well, premiering Sunday, September 12th at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 Pacific. It's the NFL This Morning. Host Chris Myers is joined by 7-time All-Pro Jackie Slater and 2-time Coach of the Year Marv Levy. They'll get you up to date on all the NFL news and the preview of all the upcoming games. That's NFL This Morning, Sunday, September 12th, 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 Pacific. Check your local listings, and that's going to be a great show. Pickup of 4, 2nd and 6. Machete has time. Intercepted again by Tuatelli. And he's still going. 3rd interception for the Rams. Mike Machete had to make the hit. Tuatelli's 2nd career interception.
Larry Kerr and Sonny Lubick again playing cover 2. Watch Tuatelli drop here and pick off the ball. Machete's looking down the field, doesn't see real good, doesn't get enough height on it. Tuatelli goes up and makes the play. That's a simple cover 2 executed perfectly, and a nice catch by Tuatelli. Sonny Lubick, when he was at Miami, made a living playing cover 2. Gary Barnett has got to try to figure that out at halftime.
A very promising drive is stalled. How about a little reverse? Rice loses the handle, got it back, and he's in big trouble. Takes a seat at the 28-yard line. Sean Jarney, the defensive tackle out of Yorba Linda, California, is the one who had the first pop.
And Sonny's not going to like that call. Steve Fairchild made the call. He was trying to do a little razzle-dazzle. But Sonny knows as a defensive coach, hey, we got him where we want him here at the end of the half. Let's not give this baby up.
That's the story tonight as far as turnovers are concerned. Colorado with 4 has accounted for 21 points, but that's the story of Sonny Lubick's teams. You look back in the last couple of years, he always has a positive turnover ratio.
And in 1997, they led the United States with plus 27, I believe it was, in the turnover margin. But that's what it is. You play good in the kicking game, you play good on defense, you play solid on offense, and you don't lose the game on offense, you got a chance to win the football game. It was plus 26 in 1997, but it led the nation. That is a fantastic record right there that any coach in the country would love to have.
You know, interesting about Sonny Lubick, he goes 8-4 last year. There's probably 75% of the college football coaches that would die to be 8-4, but people were disappointed because the expectations were so high. It, I would have to think, is a very humbling experience last season for this team because they came in ranked, everybody thought they'd run to the WAC title, and basically they ran into a roadblock.
Well, they lost this game, and I think this set their season on a negative course. But I thought he did an excellent job just getting back to 8-4.
2nd and 27, 3 wide receivers to the left for Newton, who hasn't been forced to make any great plays. Keep it on the ground. McDougal straight ahead, crosses the 35 up to the 40, and the strong safety Michael Lewis, the sophomore out of Richmond, Texas, on the stop. The offensive line of Colorado State just flat out dominating.
You're going to see some big guys up front. All this is a little zone play, and everybody's getting a piece of somebody. And that's what you want as an offensive line coach. Watch Justin Bravansky, number 79, the center. He just gets a piece of Ty Gorak, and what happens? McDougal finds the seam.
And we've got another timeout on the field. There's Bravansky.
Bravansky started the last 6 games of last year and was supposed to start the game at left guard tonight, but they moved him to center when Jason Kuntz was ruled medically unable to play tonight.
Just a reminder, we're about 1:49 away from the Nissan halftime report. Kevin Frazier and our Hall of Famer, Kellen Winslow, in our studios in Los Angeles. They'll have scores and highlights of all today's action, including the big one, number 16 Notre Dame versus number 7 Michigan. It's a pretty good football play today. Baylor losing in overtime.
I got to ask Kelvin, how did Missouri do?
He'll tell us.
Oh, I know he will, but I'm just trying to set him up a little bit here.
How about our color announcers for Fox Net? We have Lofton now. We got Winslow. We have Lapham, Maddox. We got a football team. Tom Ramsey, quarterback.
I'm going to coach, please.
That's it.
I don't want to play.
I'll cheer. 3rd and 15 for the Rams. Playing it safe, McDougal. Banging his way inside the 40 up to the 44-yard line. Jayshon Sykes on the stop. And the clock will be stopped with 1 minute and 42 seconds left. Here's a young man that was in so much pain last year. He hurt his shoulder early on. He's got 132 yards tonight, over 13 yards a carry. He didn't say anything to anybody. He told us last night, by the way, this guy's a great young man. He said, you know, I was going to worry about that after the season. We needed to play football.
Well, his brother Matt was a punter here in 1994 to 1996. He's got Colorado State in his blood. We talked about it a couple of years ago. He played safety against Nebraska, made 22 tackles. He is Sonny Lubbock's kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that goes to Fort Collins to play for Sonny Lubbock. There's not a bunch of frills. It's just tough, hard-nosed football. Sonny loves him. He loves Sonny. It's one big happy family.
And he started
especially when you're winning.
Especially when you're up by 28. Started out as a defensive back for Colorado State. There you see Ben Kelly heading back. Dion Horinek, who's been excellent punting the football tonight. That is why he was 6th in the nation last year. Standing on his own 30. Kelly inside the 15, waiting for the return. Colorado needs to make something happen on the special teams to get in this game. Sort of a line drive, and Kelly's going to take it on the 13. Not much running room. Maybe a return of about 4 after a punt of 42-yard line. 42 yards. Well, premiering Tuesday, September 7th at 4 p.m. It's Inside High School Sports. This magazine show will focus on some of the best young athletes in the country. That's Inside High School Sports, Tuesday, September 7th at 4 p.m. A lot of great young athletes on this football field this evening. 1:32 left in the half. Number 14, Colorado, trailing Colorado State by a bundle. Mike Machete still signal calling for the Buffaloes. Cortland Johnson in the backfield. Machete complete up to about the 28-yard line to Cortland Johnson. He's the type of back, though, that can hit the home run for Colorado.
And that's why you throw him that high percentage pass. But watch Colorado State play a loose zone here, not a prevent, and keep the ball in front of them and make Machete throw the short, tight passes.
Pickup of 9. Machete, the quick drop, the quick completion, a first down, and then 5. Green on the reception. Clock is rolling. We are at 61 seconds left in the half. This is not the ideal situation for the Buffs, who wanted more of a control type game. 1st and 10. Machete, the quick drop again. Dumps it out over the middle to Johnson.
See what those passes do, and you've got to do it because Colorado State will not allow you to throw the football down the field. You got to dump him off, and like you said perfectly, Ron, you just hope that he breaks a tackle and can go the whole way.
Another pickup of 9. Colorado getting some yards, but Machete is going to be dumped again. Jason Gallimore, just a sophomore whose twin brother Justin is also on the football team. He gets the sack.
It's the same blitz they used before with John Howe, the weak safety blitz. Colorado had better go in at halftime and figure out that weak safety blitz, because that's the 3rd time now tonight that the free safety or the weak safety has come off the corner. Gallimore does a great job of coming. He just catches him with his hand. It's not a vicious hit, but it doesn't matter. He still brings him down. What Gallimore's got to do, if I can coach him here a little bit, Ron, he's just got to slow up a little bit, bring himself under control because you had the sack. Don't try to knock the quarterback out of the game because you might miss him.
He's not even on scholarship. His brother is. They put his brother on scholarship.
Yeah, he will be tomorrow, though.
Right.
After that sack, give that man a scholarship.
He's played extremely well. Now Colorado's not going to take any chances with 17 seconds left, facing 4th and 10. They will kick it away. Delay of game is going to be called against Colorado, so they'll back them up a little bit more. In case you just joined us, Colorado State 14 in the first quarter, 14 in the second quarter. They stymied the Colorado offense, and they've run right through the Colorado defense. That is why they lead 28-0. Have not beaten Colorado since 1986. Beach is going to kick it away, and it's a good one. Fair catch is being called for at the 30. 7 seconds go by, 10 left in the half, and Colorado State will again have the football. Just a reminder, coming up at halftime, the Nissan halftime report. Kevin and Kellen, our special K's back in L.A. Gary Barnett's going to have to put the thinking cap on. What does he do?
Well, first thing he's going to do is not panic, because Colorado can come out and score 28 points in the second half. Now, Sonny Lubic's going to make sure his football team knows it's still 0-0. He's going to go in, and that's the first thing out of Sonny Lubic's mouth is, guys, it's nothing right now. We've got to go out and play the second half.
Colorado State doing exactly what they had intended to do, and that is run the football, and they're running out the clock. That is the end of the first half. Kevin McDougal has been the difference offensively, running the football more than effectively, taking a long one in, banging his way from one, and that has allowed the Rams to have a surprising 28-0 lead over Colorado, and the Boo Birds are out here in Mile High.
Well, the people that believed in this Colorado State football team was Colorado State. They've kept their mouths shut. They've been very businesslike in their approach to this game, almost scary in their businesslike approach.
And Eric Clemens is with Sonny Lubick. Eric?
All right, Coach, let me just ask you a question. As media experts would say, surprise. Are you surprised by the performance of your team?
Our team's really playing well, and I'd have to admit that we got them shocked a little bit. There's another half to play, and that's the thing that I've got to get across to our football team. But they're playing better than I thought we could, and I guess the coach learns something every day.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you in the second half.
You.
Sonny Lubick's team up 28-0 here at the half. Surprise, surprise. Now time for the Nissan halftime report with our Fox Net studio host, Kevin Frazier, along with Kellen Winslow. Guys?
The largest deficit Colorado has ever rallied from was 20. That was in 1978 versus Missouri. They now trail by 28 to Colorado State. Nardi, when you look at the numbers, you can see exactly why the Rams are leading in this ballgame.
The biggest statistic is the rushing statistic. Colorado State right now has rushed for 117 yards. Colorado's had the ball for over 22 minutes, but I'll tell you, they got to be able to stop Colorado State's rushing attack, or else they can't get back into this football game.
The rushing and the turnovers have killed Colorado. Eric Clemens, you're on the sideline. What's Colorado thinking right now?
Well, Colorado is thinking simply this. Coach Barnett has to remind these guys of all the hard work they did in preseason to get to this point and open the season on a positive note. He has to eliminate the big plays. CSU has a lot of them, and they have to do something positive to hang their hats on here in the second half. Guys, we'll see if they can make it happen.
And I think, Eric, it's the old adage, too, Artie, is that you've got to do something quickly to try to get some type of momentum, and I'm sure Gary Barnett would love to have something happen right here, first 5 minutes of the third quarter. And you can see the time trailing tonight, 24-10 in the previous games versus Colorado State. They've only trailed 18 total minutes.
Yeah, I know, but you got to throw out the pass. What's happening here tonight is the issue. And his defense has got to come up with some positive plays, maybe a turnover, maybe something on the kickoff return here, cause a fumble to give Colorado some life. Because right now, they probably don't have much life.
Dallas Davis and Frank Rice, who set to receive the second half kick. Davis in the end zone. Rice says, take a knee, my friend. Colorado State leading by 4 touchdowns. Will begin first and 10 on their own 20.
And that's smart by Rice to advise Davis to do that. Why take a chance? You get the ball in the 20. It was excellent hang time. Now, I think the trick in football is when you're ahead by this much. And as I said before, when you come out in the second half, I think you got to play like it's 0-0, because otherwise you'll have something negative happen to you. You got to go full out and play like the game is just beginning.
One thing Colorado cannot do, as we see the numbers on McDougal averaging over 12.5 a carry, is allow something big to happen early. Reb Stock in motion on 1st and 10. The bread and the butter. McDougal banging his way over the 20 up to the 23-yard line, maybe the 24-yard line. You know, we talked about the white and the blue collar type thing, and I think Kevin, our boy, is showing us blue collar.
Well, he is a blue collar runner. He's an old-fashioned guy that just likes to stick it up in there. I think he'll be an excellent back in the National Football League, probably somewhere between a tailback and a fullback. One of those guys you use for a lot of different things. He'll play great on special teams. Plus, he's a New York Yankee fan, which I like him for. I'll tell you that story later on.
2nd and 6. Quick drop, quick pass, quick completion, quick first down. Dallas Davis tightrope it on the sideline, and that'll be good for a first if they mark it right at the 30. That's where the official is standing. There's been a lot of pad popping tonight. Let's listen in on this one.
Sounded good. Great work by our audio people, but it's also a great example of run after catch as we look at Rashidi Barnes, the outstanding safety from Colorado.
Now Colorado State has the luxury of doing just what they've done. McDougal 4 yards, exactly what they want. Little pass, quick in, pick up a couple yards. Hewlett in motion, they go back to McDougal. Up to about the 34-yard line, the first hits by Justin Bannon, the nose tackle out of Fair Oaks, California. This is the young man, number 97 for Colorado. I think great things could happen to this person. He has more ability than anybody could possibly believe. He had a great year last year despite 2 bad ankles. Coaches think that he could be excellent.
Yeah, he's a brown belter in karate also, and he was a high school punter. Can you imagine that guy right there being a high school punter?
At 6'3", 290. Not bad.
Not bad. I hope he kicked it long and far.
McDougal, another 4 yards, sets up a 2nd and 6. Quick drop, the right side, passes off the fingertips, incomplete. Penalty flag is thrown. Ben Kelly was hanging on the intended receiver, Dallas Davis, but I think he got his hand caught in the cookie jar.
One of the most difficult plays for a cornerback is the quick slant.
Pass interference, defense, spot foul, first down.
Because if you don't get too close to the receiver, he's probably going to catch it. Ben Kelly tried very hard on that. That was very close, but it's a very difficult cornerback play.
Okay,
and this guy Kelly, I love him. He's an all Big A performer, not only as a corner, but also as a kick returner.
And he just had his way with Colorado State's receivers last year. He's just trying to make something happen. 1st and 10 on their own 43-yard line. McDougal banging his way across the 45 to the 47, and again, Justin Bannon. I don't think we could talk enough about that offensive line about Colorado State. Once again, Jason Coons, a sophomore. He is injured, is not starting. They had to make some moves. David Showett has moved up to that one of the guard positions. Borvansky's moved over to center, and they haven't lost a beat. Sonny Lubick knew that all his players practiced 3 different positions during the week. There's no problem. 2nd and 4, a 2nd and 6, another 4-yard pickup by McDougal. Ochoa, the tight end, goes to the right side. Again, McDougal, another first down. They are assaulting that left side of the Colorado defense. And that left side does include some of the youngsters, including Drew Walrus, the linebacker. But they just seem they found the Achilles heel of that Buffalo defense, Artie.
What Steve Fairchild, the offensive coordinator, told us, he's only got 6 running plays because he wants everybody in the offensive line to be able to block all fronts. 6 isn't a whole lot of numbers in terms of runs, but their offensive linemen execute the blocking scheme on all 6.
This time it's not McDougal, but they still pick up 5 on the play. And the coaching staff of Colorado State up in the booth. They want to hit CU at different spots.
And
that's
here's
exactly
old
what they're
Steve
doing.
Fairchild right there. And this is his game plan with those 6 runs that I was just talking about. And all he's got to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he'll make a good choice. Steve is an ex-Colorado State quarterback, and he's just done an excellent job with his young offensive football team.
Fairchild was all WAC second-team quarterback in the first team that year. Jim McMahon. McDougal back into the lineup. Little play-action pass. Newton out in the flat. Pass is complete. Up to about the 33-yard line. Brad Svoboda, the sophomore out of Springfield, Illinois. Did not have a reception last year. He's got one tonight.
Now watch number 79, Justin Vervansky, right here. He just watch him right here. He's going to pancake his guy, comes off, and just knocks Ty Gregorek down. Gregorek is an outstanding linebacker. He was coming on a blitz, a little bit off balance, but just an excellent job of an offensive lineman using his hands and shoving the linebacker.
And another first down, and the clock is becoming an ally of Colorado State. Try the left side. McDougal finds a seam again. Blows inside the 25 down to the 22, and Michael Lewis comes up from the strong safety spot. He has great vision. You mentioned it in the second quarter. He can see where that seam's going to be, and he makes that cut.
Vision, power running, shoulder pads down, and offensive linemen doing a great job of opening seams. Now, one of the key elements in this offensive line is the utilization of the tight end. When you see number 17, Leon Smith, go in motion, he's usually the lead blocker. He's like an offensive lineman in the backfield.
You can see that number, and that's pretty impressive. McDougal, the workhorse, inside the 20, spins down to the 17. Michael Lewis, it looked as though he was going to be stopped cold at the 21.
You know, we were talking about Steve Fairchild before, and a guy like Steve Fairchild, who's the offensive coordinator on a football team where the head coach is a defensive guy, has got a tough job because the offense is his. And Sonny, as I mentioned before, never goes on the offensive side of the field. This is Steve Fairchild's offense, and obviously the product is superior this evening.
Another first down for the Rams. Knocking on the door again, already leading 28-0. McDougal cuts inside, finds a little hole to the 12, and again, the strong safety has to make the stop. Pickup of 4. Sonny Lubick, we talked about the speed of Colorado. Sonny Lubick told us last night, hey, we play with speed all the time, but how is Colorado State negating that great speed on the Colorado defense?
They're running right at them. They're pulling offensive guards. They're bringing their tight end around, and they're getting angle blocks on them. They're not allowing Colorado to blitz or stunt. They're just getting on them. They're taking them down inside or taking them outside, and the vision of McDougal is doing the rest.
Second down and 6 from the 12. Another play-action pass. Newton's pass complete at the 5. Another first down. It'll be first and goal to go for the Rams. Pete Rebstock, the sophomore, with a reception. That is his second of the evening.
Excuse me, Ron. This has got to be frustrating for Gary Barnett because you run, you can't stop him, and then Newton does an excellent job on the play fake, finds his guy inside. Rebstock makes the play, a nice, safe pass, but here it is now, first and goal to go. Look for Colorado State to pound it up in there.
That was worth 11. Let's see if Mr. McDougal gets the call again. There he is. Inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line. Jay-Sean Sykes puts the stop sign up, but it has to be frustrating. Like you said, you try to stop the run, you can't do it. Then they come with a short pass. You can't stop it, then they come with the intermediate pass.
Well, what's happening, though, Colorado's getting 8 guys up in the quote box trying to stop the run. But with the guards pulling, with Leon Smith coming around as the extra blocker, Colorado State is outmanning Colorado at the point of attack.
Second and goal on the 2. McDougal down to the 1. He gets hit hard. Coming up from that cornerback spot, Damon Wheeler really lowered his shoulder, and McDougal is going to be one tired young man tomorrow. Wheeler throws his 175 pounds around.
This is a tough call here now. If you're Colorado State, you want to try to hammer it up in there, you know, kick a field goal if you don't make it, I think you got to be considering right now trying to give this guy, Kevin McDougal, the ball twice in a row. Even if it's on 4th down, who cares? You're ahead by 28 points.
This is the 16th play of the drive. He only had 22 in the first half. Did he get in? Officials have not made the signal yet. Touchdown, Colorado State.
Safest play in football, the quarterback sneak.
Sonny, you can smile. A 16-play drive. Nothing Colorado could do about it, and they also took 7.5 minutes off the clock. The extra point. And Matt Newton sneaks it in. His first rushing touchdown. It's all the Rams. So, what are you waiting for? Let's go. Colorado is going, and they're almost gone. They lead 35-0 under an absolutely beautiful Saturday evening in the mile-high city of Denver, along with Aaron Clemens and Artie Gigantino. I'm Ron Doolin.
You know, Colorado State came out and made a big-time statement there with that drive at the beginning of the half.
Once again, C.W. Hurst kicks it out of the end zone. We talked about it a couple of times. It may be redundant, but they're taking it away.
He's as MVP as anybody is tonight, except for maybe McDougal, because he has taken away one of the great weapons that the University of Colorado has, and that's their kick return game. And so has their punter, Hornet. He's put the ball in the corner. That's good, solid game planning in the kicking game, which a lot of people don't talk about enough, and a lot of people don't do well enough.
Well, now if you're Colorado, you're obviously feeling way behind the 8 ball. Dwayne Sherrington, the tailback. But there's still a long season to go. Sherrington picks up some running room over the 30 up to the 34-yard line. And both coaches agreed yesterday that no matter what happens, this does not end your season, because obviously Colorado expects to compete in the Big 12 North Division. Colorado State, part of the new conference, and you know it's not a conference game.
No, it's not a conference game, but it's a state pride game, and it's something that springboards your season. But as you said, it's not over yet.
Still 7:07 left to be played here in the third quarter. Machete, 3-step drop, pass is complete. Green again, stretching ahead to the 45-yard line, and here is Colorado State scheduled for the 1999 season.
They get the Wolfpack next week at Nevada and then BYU, and I'll tell you, they have got a chance to have a great year. You look in October, that's a tough one at Wyoming. Obviously, Air Force is always a great game, but this is a football team that's got a chance to go 9-2 or 10-1 and certainly go to a great bowl game.
Part of the new Mountain West Conference, which is a very exciting football conference, and basketball for that matter.
Now this is interesting. You see all the Colorado State linebackers on the line of scrimmage. It's either a bluff or a blitz. And it's a bluff that time.
And Machete's going to be tripped up behind the line of scrimmage once again. Rick Kroll, who has the interception for the touchdown, sticks out the arm. Machete couldn't jump over it.
This is called putting mental pressure on the quarterback. The linebackers get up in there, and they're faking a blitz. Machete saying, oh my goodness, it's going to be a blitz. The audible's to a quick pass. It's covered because they drop out of zone, and Rick Kroll comes out and does a great job, and it's the 4th sack tonight of Mike Machete. I love that kind of defense, Ron. That's good stuff.
Here comes Colorado State again. Machete just has to dump it off. The pass is complete up to the 44-yard line, and Sherrington. But there was not much of a gain.
Eric Olson, a linebacker-type guy that plays safety. You know, he's got 33 career starts. It's the most of anybody at Colorado State. Excellent open field play. Mike Machete still competing, still has that determined look on his face to get this offense going.
He'll be competing when this game is over.
No question.
Type of player.
No question.
Third down and 11. Now Colorado State is dropping back. Machete being punished again. And again it is Jason Gallimore, his second sack of the evening, the non-scholarship player. I wonder if old Sonny's looking through the files now, see if he's got one available. Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. It's hardcore football. This week's guest is ex-Bronco quarterback and future Hall of Famer John Elway. Elway's career included many spectacular moments right here at Mile High Stadium. Hardcore football Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. Check your local listing. Gallimore having quite a game at that strong safety spot. Again, set to kick it away. Dallas Davis standing at the 18. That's a high spiraling kick. Davis is going to let it bounce. Does it get in the end zone? Yes. Kelly tried to get a hand on it. Was about a half a yard too short. 61 yards on the kick. None on the return. Colorado State has a big lead over its state rival, Colorado. Mike Machete talking to offensive coordinator Tom Cable. Still has the fire in his eyes despite being down 35-0. Colorado State will keep it on the ground. Rashad Sanders, a big hole over the 40, up to the 43-yard line. The true freshman out of San Diego, California. The first freshman to run the football at Colorado State since Damon Washington 5 years ago.
Sanders is a guy that they really like. Now, the Colorado defensive staff has an unusual situation. This man right here, Tom McMahon, and a gentleman on the sidelines by the name of Vince Ocru right here are co-coordinators. And between them, they call the defense. Both of them have got to be very frustrated today.
A little screen pass, not much running room. That'll be a loss of about 3 yards on the play.
You know, going back to those two defensive coordinators, I think Vince does an excellent job, but he did not anticipate today giving up 185 yards to Colorado State. And he was nervous yesterday when we talked to him about this type of thing happening because they were in a different system for the last 4 years under A.J. Kristoff. Andy Kristoff is now gone. This is a new system, and the way you build trust with your football team is to have success. And obviously, unfortunately for them, tonight they're not having it.
So the players stick with them.
They will, because Vince and Tom are excellent football coaches.
Davis wide to the left, Red Stock in motion. 2nd and 13. Dukes to Red Stock looking for a block, and he gets it. That's going to be a holding call, however, against Colorado State. I think Blaine Sapapia, he may have got a little arm wrapped around that black jersey.
Yeah, it might have been an open field tackle. He did such a good job on the touchdown when he blocked Damon Wheeler. But you know, those big guys are against little guys in the open field, and sometimes those little guys get away from them, and you got to reach and try to get them down. But not when you're ahead 35-0, right?
Right.
Just getting away.
Well, Sapapia is going to be whistled for the foul.
Holding the offense. Penalty is declined. Third down.
You know, he's remarkable for a big man. Watch him right here. Number 61. Now, see, that's just a tackle, Blaine. Come on, just go run him over. That's a good call by the official. But, you know, old Blaine, he's a senior out of Oxnard. He runs really good in the open field for a man that weighs what he says is 310. He's about 325, I think.
Good call. Obvious call. 3rd and 8. Ball on the 44-yard line inside of 3 minutes here in the third quarter. Colorado State has already tacked down another touchdown here in the third after leading 28-0 in the first half. McDougal getting a rest. Sanders play action pass. This pass is going to be knocked down. Now for a Dr. Pepper game break, here's Kevin Frazier.
Guys, after an initial scare, Florida pulls it together late in the fourth quarter against Western Michigan. Robert Gillespie, no relation to Dizzy, but he leaves the Broncos defenders that way. Florida overwhelming Western Michigan 55-26.
But Willie toot his own horn after the play.
A lot of scares in college football today, and boy, I tell you, but that, you know, I think the scholarship rule of allowing only 85 scholarships per team, conferences like this conference and the WAC emerging, taking great talented players from the West Coast has really equaled a lot of the faces and the landscape of college football.
There is some parity.
Big time.
4th and 8 to the 44. Colorado coming big, and the kick is away. At the 5, it is Kelly. Nice coverage again by points the last 6 meetings, but tonight in a shocker. Mike Machete on the left, the quarterback of Colorado, has had his hands full, but Kevin McDougal on the right, the big running back from Colorado State, has had his way. 179-yard rushing, 2 touchdowns, including a 59-yarder. And Machete on the run again. This time he breaks containment up to the 24-yard line. Pickup of about 6 on the play before Clark Hagan tracks him down from behind.
You know, that was an example of losing containment. And the word containment means keeping the quarterback to your inside. In that time, and sometimes this happens, Ron, is when a defender comes off the corner too fast, an agile quarterback like a Mike Machete, who's got a bloody nose right there, can out-juke you and get to the corner. And that's exactly what happened. Now, Mike Machete's nose is bleeding, and I think that's why he's coming out of the game, because you cannot play intercollegiate sports when blood is showing either on your face, or your hand, or your arm.
Now they have a few seconds to try to clean that up, try to get him back in the football game, and it's been a tough night. He hasn't taken the punishment he has taken last year, but I think the frustration level is a lot higher.
I agree, and you know, he's a smarter quarterback this year. He's getting rid of the ball, he's going down when he sees himself in danger. This offseason, he added 20 pounds to his 175-pound frame in an effort to protect himself a little bit more, and I think he's doing that.
Premiering Sunday, September 12th at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. It's NFL This Morning. Chris Myers will be your host, and he'll be joined by 7-time All-Pro Jackie Slater and, of course, 2-time Coach of the Year Marv Levy. They'll get you up to date on all the NFL news and preview the games of that day. That's NFL This Morning, Sunday, September 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. Check your local listings.
I've known Chris for a long time. Yep. That's a great deal for him, and was at the Rams with Jackie, and Marv Levy was always one of my heroes because he was such an outstanding special teams coach. It'll be a great show.
Guys at Fox News are getting it all together for that one. Jetty back in. Quick 3-step drop, and he is going to be dropped again. Clark Hagan. They were worried about blocking not only Hagens but also Pollard, but they've really had a problem with it, and there's a penalty flag thrown, and it probably will be holding against the Buffalo.
But it's scheme again. See the linebackers, Palatuli up in there and Kroll. They show blitz to Machete. Machete calls an audible, comes out of there, expects man, sees zone, he eats the ball. It's a covered sack again. That's just good defensive design that puts mental pressure on the quarterback.
Well, it wasn't against the Buffaloes. Well, the official never gave the signal on the penalty, but it was against the Rams.
It might have been offside.
It may have been. Or maybe a face, I'm not sure what it was. But it is second down and just about a foot. Blitz is coming. Machete goes upstairs, and it's going to be picked off again. Eric Olson, the strong safety, with the interception. There were 2 white jerseys and only 1 black jersey. Green was sandwiched. And Olson came up with the interception, and a Colorado State player is down. And that is Terrence Gibson.
It was a blitz that time, and you're going to see coming off the corner, Palatuli gets picked up inside, and Gallimore gets picked up outside. But Olson, like a true center fielder, like a true free safety, comes over the top and makes the play on the ball, which is a little bit underthrown. Excellent job by Eric Olson of reading the eyes of the quarterback. Now look at the reaction of Mike Machete. This has been a tough night for this competitive young man. And again, a year ago, he had such a great night here. Last year, he was carried off the field 4 times, but he has got to be just heartbroken tonight on the way this Colorado offense has been playing, along with that man right there.
Now, Mike only had 7 interceptions all of last year. He has 3 this evening, and Terrence Gibson, the junior out of Gary, Indiana, is down, and they continue to work on the nose of Mike Machete. Don't think that ever happened to him when he played with the Oakland A's. But it has been a tough evening for the Colorado Buffaloes, and they had such high expectations. And about a week ago, though, Gary Barnett even felt that this team was in no way, shape, or form ready for a football game, and he was very concerned about it, but he felt the last couple of days they had some pretty good practices.
Well, they've had some good practices, but, you know, sometimes things don't work out. Tonight, Mike Machete has been under unbelievable pressure. A lot of it has had to do with the great blitz scheme utilized by Colorado State. But once again, Mike Machete, who got sacked 38 times last year, has been taken to the ground too many times for Gary Barnett's sake. But it shows you the toughness of Machete because he gets up each and every time.
Well, the Colorado State coaches visited Tampa Bay's Monty Kiffin during the summer and talked about blitzing schemes. Monty's son is a graduate assistant for the Rams. Obviously, it's paid off. Here's McDougal. Cuts inside of the 50, and he is going to be gang tackled for absolutely no gain. One of the few times this evening they have stopped the senior out of Colorado.
You know what's interesting about McDougal? He seems to get stronger as the game goes on.
Penalty flag is thrown as Colorado State now can just continue to work on their running game with McDougal. Well, there's Gibson. He is up, a little shaken up. Olsen put quite a hit on him. I think he hears the phone ring and he just can't find out where to pick it up.
He came up to me at Colorado State's practice the other day and said, make sure you mention me on TV.
10 yards, please second down.
Well, Terrence, we're going to mention you. You're doing a great job. He's from Gary, Indiana. And you know, something about him, he was a wrestler in high school. He was undefeated. He was 17-0. He's a competitive young man that's a lot of fun to be around.
He's glad to be here in Pittsburgh tonight. Somebody answer the phone, please.
Gary, Indiana guys are tough.
Penalty was against Colorado State, 3rd and 22, final 50 seconds of the third quarter. Dallas Davis in motion, Newton's going to put it up. Wheeler right there to stop it for little of any gain, and it'll probably be a loss of about 2. Davis came back to make the catch. Inside of 30 seconds left in the third.
The one thing the coaches said about Newton to us is they were very confident in him. They weren't afraid that he was going to be afraid in front of 75,000 people in his first start. In fact, he's a guy that came to Colorado State in the middle of what would have been his freshman year. In other words, he took 6 months off so he would get an extra spring practice. He's a dedicated football junkie, so to speak, that's playing very well tonight.
Now this will be the final play of the quarter. It is going to be a big one by McDougal, fittingly. Picks up about 12 yards on the play before Robbie Robertson makes the stop, and that will end the third quarter with Colorado State leading 35-0. Eric Clemens, did they have enough shells in that cannon to last this evening?
Yeah, Ron, I guess they have plenty of shells. This is a big gun, a 75-millimeter howitzer donated to CSU by the U.S. Army some in the late 1950s, and now they've taken the safety off. They're going to fire it with their team up by 35. Ready? Do it.
Bill Cummins of Johnstown, Colorado, had a chance to win $1 million in the Invesco $1 million kicker, but you can tell he probably didn't win it.
This is ugly. Watch this thing. I mean, he doesn't come close. Come on, Bill. Get your foot up underneath that. $1 million?
You look like Tom Dempsey.
Tom Dempsey would have made it.
All right, Bill.
I probably could have made that. Sam, our spotter, would have made that.
It's a kicker, though. High snap. Still able to get it away.
How much does McDougal have to them?
Korinick has done a great job punting. Ben Kelly running a long way and going absolutely nowhere.
Ron, I talked about this before, but that is just outstanding coverage of a punt team. And the guy that makes it go is Dion Hornet. I was with him at practice the other day. He can really sky it. He will be a National Football League punter. And the key to great coverage is getting that baby, as you said before, up in the air for 5 seconds. And Sonny Lubick knows that a defensive coach's best friend is a punter and a good kickoff guy.
Well, they had it down at the 1 before, led to one of their touchdowns. Now they put Colorado inside the 10, down at the 8-yard line.
I used to always have the punters and the place kickers come to the defensive meetings. I wanted them to be part of the defense.
the Colorado State special teams have been outstanding. They have rushed the football, Colorado State. They have forced the turnovers. It is a near-perfect game plan. Adam Bledsoe now in at quarterback for the Buffs. The junior out of Yakima, Washington. He is big at 6'5", 230, and the only thing this young man has been lacking is confidence. We had him against Kansas last year, was sacked 6 times, and you can see at that point he was a little bit rattled, but he does have the tools.
But he hasn't played very much. He's a talented guy, as you said. He's 6'5". He looks like the perfect National Football League big studly quarterback. He's different than Mike Machete in terms of arm strength and size.
Now he gets a chance to shine. The quick drop, pass is incomplete. Nice defense again, intended for Roman Hollowell. Pass is broken up by Amir Lowe, the junior out of Denver, Colorado. Just a programming note and a reminder, premiering Tuesday, September 7th at 4 o'clock. It's Inside High School Sports. This magazine show will focus on some of the best young athletes in the country. That's Inside High School Sports, Tuesday, September 7th.
When you have a young quarterback in the game, you really want to play mind games with him if you're a defensive coordinator by blitzing and disguising.
Straight drop on 3rd and 10. Ball is loose. Who's got it? Colorado State.
But what they did, they walked the linebackers up again, and they disguised the blitz, which allowed McKenzie to come clean. Wow, that's a big play for Colorado State.
McKenzie on the hit, Pollard on the recovery. Artie again, special teams, they put him back. It helped them get this ball back on the 1-yard line. Outstanding performance by Colorado State this evening. As Sonny told us, the margin of error was 0.
Well, they played perfectly, but again, I go back to more than just the players sometimes. I like the call, a bluff blitz against a young quarterback. Now, there's unsportsmanlike conduct here against Colorado State, which will give them the ball instead of on the 1, on the 15. And Sonny Lubit's not going to like that.
Well, that pushes him back from the 1, back to the 16. And you have to be careful in this type of situation because there's still a great deal of time left at 14:33. You don't want anybody doing anything stupid. And let's take a look at that sack again by Mike McKenzie.
Here's what I'm talking about. The linebackers are up in there. They put pressure on him. Now watch 76. McKenzie, he's going to come there and just make a great hit. And you know what's good about it and what causes the fumble? He hits him up high. And that knocks the ball out of the quarterback's arms. Nice job by Mike McKenzie.
Matt Newton has done everything he's needed to do this evening. New players coming in. Dwayne Ruff, a sophomore out of Denver, Colorado, now in at that fullback spot. He's getting a little bit of playing time.
Ruff is 5'9", 175, more of a zigzag runner. He's almost the opposite of McDougal. He's a speed runner that's going to run more east and west as opposed to run people over inside. The coaches like him. They think he's got an excellent future here.
Pickup of 3 on that play. 2nd and 7. The numbers and the stats on him. Inside of 14 minutes left to play in the ball game. Newt, great fake. Stops, looking for somebody in the end zone, has him there, incomplete. Kelly was closing quickly on Frank Rice.
See, that was inexperience, though, because the experienced quarterback takes it and runs it and gets about a 6-yard gain. That was just inexperience by Matt Newton after such a wonderful ball fake. He'll learn, though, and you want to make that mistake when you're ahead 35-0. You know, not when it's 7-6.
Do it now.
Do it now.
It's been a long time since Colorado has been shut out of a football game. In fact, it was back on November 12th, 1988, when the Cornhuskers shut out the Buffaloes 12-0. Ruff trying to bounce out the left side, maybe gets out of the 12-yard line. It was 3rd and 7, picked up 2. They'll be faced with a 4th down situation, and Colorado State's going to kick a field goal.
Here's a good stat for you. Under Sonny Lubin, the Colorado State Rams are 40-3 when they're ahead at halftime, 43-2 when they lead after the 3rd quarter. I think that 43-2 is going to be 44-2 here in 13 minutes and 20 seconds.
Hurst will kick it away. Rebstock is the holder. They spotted at the 19, a 29-yarder. And 3 more to the Rams. 13-10 left to play in the ball game, and the Rams are shellacking the Buffaloes. $38-0. Colorado State putting a spanking on the number 14 team in the country, the Buffaloes of Colorado. Under a beautiful sky here in Denver on Saturday night. Perfect night for football, but not if you're a Colorado fan. Mr. Hurst, same story, second verse, but this time they're going to bring it out. And it is Kelly. And he is going nowhere. The story tonight for Colorado State's offense has been Kevin McDougal. Am I right, Eric Clemens?
You are absolutely right, and Kevin McDougal was struggling a little bit when he came off the field last time, but he's suffering, believe it or not, from a little heat exhaustion. I think it's just exhaustion any way you look at it, but if he rushes for 1,000 yards this year and he's well on his way to doing that, he'll become only the 4th Colorado State Ram to do it twice, joining some pretty good company like Lawrence McCutcheon. We remember that name from the National Football League, guys.
In his career, when he's rushed for 100 yards, he's done it 8 times. Colorado State has won every game. In 3 years, 1997, 1998, and this year.
Yeoman's effort. Bledsoe is going to be picked off again. Eric Olson with his second interception. Down to the 24-yard line, and the Colorado players just throw up their hands and are yelling at each other. That's not a good sign.
Well, when things go good, they go good. When they go bad, they go bad. And there's that secondary coach I was talking about, Sonny Lubick, who's excited because he coaches Eric Olson. You're going to see Bledsoe back. He looks down the middle of the field. It doesn't look like he gets enough velocity on the ball, and it's an easy catch for Eric Olson. And there he is, Sonny Lubick. He's happy. He's 62 years old and fired up and full of excitement and full of energy.
Well, a lot of people felt this wouldn't be a true rivalry unless Colorado State could prove they could win.
Well, guess what?
They've done it.
It's a rivalry.
It has started. They're going to keep it on the ground. But I think we have to say, too, in defense of Gary Barnett, it's a tough situation he came into. He is trying to revamp absolutely everything from top to bottom, from pencils and staplers to everything. This man is a class guy, ladies and gentlemen, and he is going to win here.
Well, you look at this graph now, Colorado has lost to unranked teams 4 times since 1987. And one of the goals that Gary Barnett set out for his football team this year was to put away unranked teams or lesser opponents. And by put away, beat convincingly. Obviously, that's not happening tonight.
Well, people are jumping all over the place. Penalty flag is thrown.
But going back to Gary, Ron, I think you're very right about him trying to change everything. It doesn't happen overnight. He comes into town as, quote, the savior, as the guy who's riding a white horse, and everybody's looking to him to change everything when he waves his magic wand. It doesn't happen overnight. He's done a brilliant job. He got the job with only 7 days left in recruiting. It's going to take some time to get the Colorado program where he wants it. Colorado program wasn't down.
Yeah.
I think it had, softened up a little bit, but it certainly wasn't down. This man is the right guy for this job. He's the perfect fit,
Absolutely.
like his counterpart from Colorado State.
Keeping it on the ground with Rashawn Sanders. And Gary did a very wise thing and something we don't hear too much about. When he got the job, he said, I want to visit every player's family. And he did that except for 3 players, went all over the country. And he said it gave me a great perspective. He wants to do it every 3 years.
Well, it's great, and it's a great idea because when you recruit players, you know what their background is. You know what kind of home they live in. But when you inherit players, you don't know what kind of home life this young athlete comes from. I thought it was a great idea, and not many coaches in the country do that. But it just shows you the type of man that Gary Barnett is. This Colorado program is in great hands.
On 3rd and 12, Newton looking deep. Pass is going to be knocked away, intended for Dallas Davis. Donald Strickland, the redshirt freshman out of San Francisco, California, there to swat the pass away.
Strickland's another one of those young players in this Colorado football program that's got an excellent future. Highly recruited at Reardon as we look at Newton going off the field and
I tell you, this guy should get a game ball tonight.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about Hurst. He has done an excellent, excellent job. In fact, the whole kicking units, all the kicking units should get some kind of game ball tonight.
Well, he's going to attempt his second field goal of the evening. Has already made one. This is spotted at the 34-yard line, a 44-yard attempt. Once again, Rebstock the holder. Mike McKenzie the snapper. Snap is good. Kick looks good. And it is good. It is a perfect night for Colorado State. They lead 41-0. Sonny Lubick said his pregame pep talk for tonight's game with Colorado would be very simple. Make us proud. They felt last year they almost laid down. That man, he said his pregame pep talk, let's just go out and play the best we possibly can. But Lubick's team has made the head coach very, very proud this evening. Set to kick it away, and Hurst again. In the end zone, and it will be down. Eric Clemens has been roaming the sideline. Eric, how about summing up this game?
Yeah, the National Car Rental game summary, and it is a story of dominance and a story of a lot of turnovers. But first, the story of Kevin McDougal, back off last year's injury, 189 yards rushing in the game, 6 turnovers for Colorado, leading to at least 31 points, and Colorado State 298 total yards to Colorado's 295, but it all counts on the scoreboards, doesn't it, Artie and Ron?
Absolutely, but those turnovers and what Colorado State did with the turnovers, I think, are the key issue. Sometimes you get a lot of turnovers and you don't turn them into points. The Rams have turned them all into points.
Taking advantage of opportunities. Machete is back into the ball game, goes long over the middle, and the pass is going to be swatted away. Intended for Cedric Cormier, number 14, who has been extremely quiet this evening. We thought that we would call his name out a lot more.
Well, you know, Mike Machete hasn't been able, because he's been rushed, to get the football down the field. I'm sure he and Gary Barnett and Tom Cable wanted to throw the ball deep. In fact, I know they did. But, Ron, they just haven't had the opportunity to get it deep.
Second down and 10, 10:45 to play. Pass is complete out in the flat up to about the 28-yard line. There's Cedric, the sophomore out of Houston, Texas. Justin Gallimore on the stop. Brother Jason Gallimore with a couple of sacks. This is the sophomore transfer from Wheat Ridge, Colorado that has the scholarship.
He went to the University of Northern Colorado, and like we said, his brother's going to get a scholarship tomorrow morning at training table, I guarantee you. And it's amazing. These two guys do everything together. They're not only identical twins, they're buddies. They do everything together.
They were security guards at concerts this past summer. Machete is rushed. The pass is complete to Roman Hollowell, and that might be good for a first down. It will be close. Now the officials marking it, and that'll be 1st and 10 for the Buffaloes.
What you want to do if you're Colorado, and I'm sure Gary Barnett is thinking this, you want to now do something here in the 4th quarter, try to get a score, try to march down the field, and so it's something next week when you get ready to play San Jose that you can build on.
You don't want the goose egg at the end of the game.
No, and you don't want all negatives.
A little draw play, able to pick up some running room is Damian Barton, the junior out of Corona, California. He crosses the 40 up to the 44-yard line, and that'll be good for yet another first down.
Barton's fast. Now, he's the fastest of the tailbacks. He's a guy that has a zig and a zag in his move, and I tell you, he might be the best athlete of those tailbacks. Look for him to play more and more as the year goes on.
1st and 10 on the 44. Machete buys some time over the middle, overthrown. Intended for Hollowell. Now the executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. Coordinating producer of College Football Saturday, Roy Hamilton. Today's game was produced by Mike Helling, directed by Ken Fouts. College Football Saturday studio. It was produced by Loy Maxson, directed by Joy Whitehouse. The Vice President of Field Operations is Andrea Jenkins. Thank you, folks, for making everybody look good. Machete to Hollowell, right side. Crosses the 50 into Ram territory, down to the 43-yard line. Pickup of 13 on the play.
little throw-out screen at time, a very popular play in college football because it's a high percentage completion, but what it does, it takes advantage of the athletic skill of the receiver to run up the field. You look at the rushing yardage tonight, 189 to 153. That tells the story.
Well, you look at that, you think the game would be a little bit closer, but obviously the turnovers have hurt and giving up the big play. Machete being rushed, man wide open. Hollowell has some room. Colorado may get on the board, and they do. Hollowell's second touchdown of his career. This one covered 43 yards, and the goose egg's been wiped off.
Hollowell was wide open because they ran the safety blitz again, but somebody made a mistake in the coverage, which enabled Hollowell to get wide open. But credit Machete because he was under duress and he found Hollowell standing there.
And the competitor that Mike is, Artie, he immediately looked at Gary Barnett and said, we're going for two.
Oh, absolutely.
He doesn't think he's out of it.
And you know what? It's a great time to practice your two-point play. Because, you know, you can kick PATs all day long, and it almost becomes automatic. I think this is a good move. Go for it. Show your team that you're competing and you're staying in this game or trying to stay in the game.
Cormier in motion. Rolling to the right. Two-point conversion is good. Cormier is the recipient, and Colorado has gotten on the board with 8:49 left to play. 41-8 is our score. Thank you, Kevin and Kellen.
You know, I've never known Kelvin to be blunt. He says, you want me to be blunt? You know what, though, Kelvin, you made a great point about Colorado having to go in at halftime and figure out that safety blitz, and they didn't. Because right now, Colorado State has sacked Colorado 6 times.
Colorado obviously set up for the onside kick, takes a high hop. Colorado State had it, lost it. I think Colorado has it. What a hit put on by the men in black. You said, Artie, you want to work on things you might not get a chance to work on in game conditions. This is one of them.
It's the perfect onside kick because the ball takes a great bounce up in the air, and I tell you, he just gets rocketed.
And I think Robbie Robinson came up with it.
Right, a DB number 18 puts the hit, and that's just a great job by Robinson of going downfield and making contact. Perfectly executed onside kick.
And it was good to see the enthusiasm on the sideline by the Bucks.
Well, like I said before, Ron, you want to end on something positive so you can build on it for next week and the week after.
Machete still in at quarterback. Bledsoe saw a little bit of action. 3-step drop into the flat. Pass is complete. Green again, using that long body and long arms to pull it down, and Gary Barnett continues to coach. Interesting what he's done. He has an interesting management style, sort of subtle references and subtle reminders of their goals. He has put pictures of the Alamo Dome all over the locker room and the coach's locker room. Of course, that's where the Big 12 championship game is going to be. Hollowell on the right side. Up to the 40, close to a first down.
You know, everybody has motivational techniques that are different. Some people set goals. Some coaches allow their assistants to do it. Some people do what Gary Barnett has done in the subtle type things. He's a master motivator, but so is Sonny Lubin, because Sonny, in his own way, is just very open, very blunt, very down to earth in what he tells his football team. It works for both men.
8:15 to play in the ball game. 41-8 is our score. Colorado State upsetting the number 14 team in the country. Machete down the sideline. It is complete. Again, it is Green. And he is stepping forward tonight as the number 1 receiver, which I think Gary Barnett wanted to see from this young man.
Coming right at you here as Machete drops back, does a good job of looking down the field, and Javon Green goes up and catches the ball and gets knocked out of bounds. And this was something prior to the game that Colorado State was nervous about, was the mismatches of the Colorado receivers against Colorado State secondary. Now what's happened here is Javon Green went out of bounds on his own and then came back inside, which disqualifies the play. It's a good call by the officiating crew.
And that negates a 30-yard pickup. And Green's still arguing his case, but he's probably not going to win it with our referee, John Laurie.
One of the things when you play cover 2, which is a corner rolled up, the corner just tries to hammer the wide receiver all the time. And that time, Green tried to get away from him.
Green again, left side, and he is going to be swarmed under by a horde of white jerseys.
What pursuit that time by the Colorado State defense, led by Ricky Kroll, just running their guts out to get to the football.
Well, their number 1 rule on defense for Colorado State, everyone to the football.
Right, you swarm, you tackle, you take good angles, the rest of the things will take care of itself. And again, I can't say it enough. I believe the head coach sets the personality of the football team. This man is a defensive coach. He's always going to have good defenses at Colorado State. The defenses that play hard.
3rd and 12. Machete, no chance. Was intended for John Minardi, number 82, but he was being pushed around and held up by the defensive backs of Colorado State.
Well, it's 4th and 12, and Gary Barnett's going to go for it here, and I don't blame him.
Why not?
You know, why not? I doubt it very much if Colorado State will blitz, even though they have blitzed earlier in the game in these situations. I think they're going to play conservative and just play a 3-deep zone.
4th and 12. Machete dumps it up over the middle. Inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line to Eric McCready, and that'll be good enough for the first down.
You know, I was incorrect because they did blitz. Machete read it perfectly and threw it to McCready.
And Kroll is down again.
He's got to be exhausted, this guy.
Yeah.
He has run all over the place. He's on the kickoff team. He's on the punt team. He has got to be exhausted.
Has the interception. The senior out of California, Butkus Award candidate, moved from the strong side linebacker over to the weak side.
Same high school as Moses Moreno.
Yep.
Chula Vista.
The numbers on him, Moses Moreno, the former quarterback at Colorado State a couple of years ago, just recently released by the Chicago Bears. He'll be picked up by someone.
A lot of pro scouts at Colorado State the other day looking at Rick Kroll because the one thing they like about him, obviously because of his size, is that he can run. He's a fast football player that will play in the National Football League, in my opinion, someday. That's the one thing Colorado State has done. They've gotten bigger linebackers in the program.
It's one thing to paint your body, but it's another thing to paint your body and have your team lose. When you win, it makes painting your body worth it, doesn't it? I mean, these guys now can have something to brag about.
Oh, yeah.
But if you do it and you get your clock cleaned, it's kind of like, why did I do this?
Well, there'll be some happy people trucking back to Fort Collins tonight and tomorrow morning.
As we were in our lobby of our hotel, a bunch of the Colorado State boosters were there and heard them overheard some conversation. I said, gee, I hope our party's a little more happier than it was last year. I think it will be.
You know, have you ever done that? Have you ever painted your face?
Well, I mean, that's kind of personal.
I know. I'm serious. I don't think I've ever done that.
No, I can't say I've ever done that. My toenails, yes. Face, no. I haven't done that.
Good.
But that's another story. Very happy sideline of the Rams. First time since '86. They're going to beat the Buffaloes. 7:12 to play in the ball game. Machete just keeps on fighting. 1st and 10 on the 28. Trying to put some more points up on the board. Pressured out of the pocket, tries to step up, and once again he's going to be buried. Clark Hagan's again putting the pressure on, and that is the 7th sack of the ball game by the Rams.
And Clark Hagan's now becomes the all-time leading sacker for Colorado State.
Yeah, more football coming your way here on Fox Sports Net tomorrow. Number 15 Arizona versus TCU. That'll be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then on Labor Day it'll be Tulane and Southern Miss at 3 o'clock Eastern, and then Texas Tech will take on number 25 Arizona State at 8 o'clock. Great weekend for college football. Check your local listing. A lot of football here on Fox Sports Net as we kick off our season. Machete to Hollowell. Oh my goodness. He was popped big time by Amir Lowe. That's gotta hurt. He's looking for his mouthpiece. Maybe his contacts. Let's listen. You're smiling down there. You like that, don't you?
That's unbelievable. I love good defensive play, especially big hits from secondary guys and linebackers.
3rd down and 14. Colorado State again bringing the linebackers up to the line of scrimmage. Now they back off. Machete being pressured, dumps it into the middle, and the pass is going to be incomplete. Intended for McCready, and he was covered very well.
Mike Machete gets knocked down again, and defensive linemen and linebackers love this type of situation where they can just tee off. Danny Gouldsby there, a redshirt freshman out of Durango, 6'2", about 210, makes an excellent play, getting himself some playing time, which would bode well for him in the future.
They have 5 freshmen in there, 3 deep at the linebacking corps. 4 are redshirt freshmen. 4th down and 14. The Buffs are going for it. Colorado State blitzing. The prayer will not be answered. Intended for Green. And Colorado State will take over with 5:32 left to play in the ballgame.
Well, obviously, you're going to see Colorado State just try to hammer the ball here and just take up as much time as possible, not get anybody hurt, and get out of town.
Well, the winner of this game is obviously going to be Colorado State. Ball is loose on the ground. Colorado says they have it, and that'll be a big break for them. They'll have some time to put some more points on the board. And it will be Colorado's football, but the winner of this game will get the Centennial Cup trophy, first awarded back in 1986 to the winner of this game, and there it is, by the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame. That will be heading up to Fort Collins tonight. But Colorado still, I like seeing this, Artie. I don't know about you, that these guys could have pitched the tent, but I think it starts with Mike Machete. He has not given up. The bloody nose could be broken. We don't know. Keeps fighting.
Well, you play the game to compete, and you play the game to compete for 60 minutes. So you compete for 60 minutes. Now, the Colorado State defense has been on the field a long time, and they're doing a lot of pass rushing, obviously, so they're getting a little bit tired.
Portland Johnson sidestepping the white jerseys, and he gets inside the 20 before Eric Olson brings him down to about the 19-yard line. Pick up a 14 on the play.
That's what happens, though. You put in fresh backs if you're Colorado, who are not as tired, who can run fast, and the Colorado State defense is still mostly starters in the game. They're a little bit tired.
Absolutely. Minardi checks back into the lineup at wide receiver for the Buffaloes. And he will come out wide to the left. 1st and 10, ball on the 20, 5 minutes left to play. Machete, the 5-step drop, sack number 8. Everybody was coming in again. The Rocky Mountain Showdown, you can see the score last year. Reverse it tonight. That's a big, big turnaround.
You know what, though? I wasn't here last year. We were somewhere else. But this is almost more convincing of victory for Colorado State than Colorado's victory was a year ago, because it was close at halftime. And they returned a punt, and they muffed the punt. They got 14 points out of it. But this has been a dominant game by Colorado State.
2nd and 12 on the 22.
You see the linebackers are walking up in here. You see that? And it's forcing Machete to go to some type of audible. He goes to one, they drop out of zone, and he doesn't have anywhere to throw it.
And he lays it up into the air. Pass is tipped away at the last second by Justin Gallimore. What a great defensive play by the sophomore. For a while, it looked as though he would be beaten.
You know, I love it because it's in football, there's physical pressure, but there's also mental pressure on the quarterback. That was an example of that. And Gallimore does a good job of going up as he's falling backwards and tipping the ball away. You gotta love it when defensive backs get their hands on the football.
3rd and 12. Machete to Hollowell. This play has been successful. Left side into the 10, down to the 7 to the 6-yard line. And that'll be another 1st down. 1st and goal with 3:52 to play. That is a play that seems to work, especially with Hollowell, that little swing pass.
Well, you end up getting two blockers in front of the receiver. And like I said, it's a high percentage pass, and it allows a good athlete like a Hollowell to run with the football after the catch.
First and goal, they spotted at the 6. Machete rolling out of the pocket. Incomplete. Open was Green. He slipped. Couldn't get the hands on it. The example of Machete running out of the pocket.
You're going to see Machete get outside there, and he gets outside, but Greg Pollard, number 90, is chasing him down. But you know what? It's almost a touchdown, and it's frustration for Mike Machete. Hang in there, Mike. It'll get better.
Just a little bit behind him. 3:35 to play in the ball game, and we have a timeout. We'll step aside from Mile High Stadium in Boulder, Colorado, where the Rams are going to win the game tonight. 3:35 to play in this ball game. Colorado has been behind the entire way. They trail 41-8. They have second and goal to go. Ball is sitting on the 6-yard line. Crowd of over 70,000 on hand tonight. A lot of the people in black and gold have departed. Machete, alley-oop, looking for Green. Touchdown! Artie, you talked about his height. That was used to his advantage.
You can't stop that play. You cannot stop that play if you're a defensive back. It's almost like a basketball player going up and rebounding a ball. It's called the fade pattern. Mike Machete throws it perfectly to a spot. Green goes up and catches the ball over Gallimore. That is impossible to defend.
And it is a 41-14 ball game, and once again, Colorado looks like they'll be going for 2. Green is obviously going to be the go-to guy. Now, we had a penalty against Colorado State. It was declined, touchdown stands. But sometimes last year, I think his consistency was questioned by a lot of people for no reason. But he is the man now.
You know, I think sometimes when you lose, everybody finds things to question. And there's nothing to question here tonight. Colorado State has gone out and won this football game. What Colorado's got to do, though, is not go in the tank. They got a lot of positive things to look forward to. Got a great head coach, got a great place to recruit to, got a great place to go to school at. They just can't go into the tank because Sonny Lubeck is never going to go in the tank. Just like last year, he gets whooped here pretty good and comes back and rebounds and has an excellent season. But, you know, I was talking to him on Wednesday when I was up at practice, and they were really scrimmaging and hitting, and they were outside for almost 3 hours of practice. And I said, Sonny, aren't you worried about your team being tired? He goes, no, they're going to be tough this year. He said, we're going to play hard in this game.
No argument from us.
No argument from us.
Hollowell in motion, going for 2. Looking for Hollowell. Doesn't get him. Incomplete. And the 2-point conversion will be no good. Now for a Dr. Pepper game break, an update on UCLA Boise State. Here's Kevin Frazier.
Guys, a beautiful evening in Pasadena, and UCLA basically picking on Boise State. Julius Williams picks off Bart Hendricks, and then the cute little move, and as Kellen Winslow would say, form running, form running, form running. 17-0 at this point as he reaches the promised land. Let's go back to Denver.
Colorado cheerleaders haven't had too much of a workout. Colorado State has had to do the push-ups 41 times. With 3:31 left to play in the ball game. The last onside kick, of course, by Gary Barnett's troops. They recovered, and they are obviously going to do it again.
Onside kicks are very, very hard to practice, both for the kicking team and the receiving team, because you never know where and when and how the ball is going to hop. That's why I always like onside kicks on artificial surface, because the ball really took abnormal hops. And you're going to see the ball get kicked over here, somewhere in here again. And watch these guys right here try to field it, and these guys to the right try to knock the ball loose.
This time they pop it up in the air. And they fair catch it at the 38-yard line. McDougal is the one who made the catch. He does everything. And Kevin McDougal told us last night what kind of thrill it would be if they were able to beat Colorado.
It'd be exciting. I mean, they've been the top dogs for as long as I can remember. And going to CSU, just getting the chance to play on the same field as those guys, it's an honor. I mean, they've won national championships, and to beat them would be just terribly exciting, and it'd be a great feeling.
Enjoy it, my friend. It's well-deserved. Newton stays in the ball game, and Colorado State's going to keep it on the ground, and the hitting continues. But Kevin McDougal, the senior, 1,000-yard rusher 2 years ago, just about half of that last year, which really hurt the CSU rushing game. But tonight, averaged over 8 yards a carry, almost 190 yards.
That's the unbelievable stat, especially against his Big 12 Colorado defense that was so high coming into this game. But you know, determination means something in this world of sports, and this is a determined young man, and it was a determined offensive line tonight. In fact, the other day when I was at practice, I had my New York Yankee hat on because it was raining so hard, and he tells me he and his father are big-time Yankee fans, and he makes me promise that I'll send him a couple of Yankee hats when I get back to California. I had to ask Sonny Lubick if that was legal, but it is for announcers to take care of players. Did you know that, Ron?
I did not know that.
So I'm sending him a couple of Yankee hats.
Now, to tell you how important the rushing game is for Sonny Lubick, in 1997, his squad rushed for over 2,600 yards, had a very successful year. Last year, only 1,978. Part of it because of McDougal's injury. They keep it on the ground with Sanders, and he shows some of the speed to the 40-yard line.
He goes to Horizon High School in San Diego. It's a Christian high school. There are only 400 students in the school. He plays in the lowest division of football in Southern California because of population. Colorado State recruits him, loves him, and he is going to be a star in this Colorado State football program. He's a great compliment right now to McDougal because of his speed.
Well, he rushed for over 3,500 yards his high school career.
That's a lot of yardage.
It's a lot of yardage. Looked up to Rashawn Salam, believe it or not, of Colorado. Big hit.
You know what
Donald Strickland.
Excuse me, Ron. You know what I liked about him in practice? He's a very mature guy, and I think Kevin McDougal sets the example a little bit for him. But Sanders, you know, he's in there with the first team. He doesn't blink. Sonny yells at him a little bit. Fairchild yells at him a little bit. But he doesn't care. He just goes and keeps playing. He doesn't act like a freshman.
Now, right now, the Buffaloes have 11 more first downs and about 15 more total yards than Colorado State, which obviously shows how much turnovers meant tonight. Sanders takes a big hit up to the 37-yard line, a pickup of about 1.5. They had a lot of question marks about this young man, how he would elevate to this level, and I think they're being answered. Just a reminder, Fox Sports News coming up, college football coverage. Jeannie Zelasco, John Walls standing by to update you on the Major League Baseball playoff races, plus highlights from the U.S. Open. So join Jeannie and John. They are coming up immediately following our game on most of these Fox Sports Net stations. John Walls, the pride of Tulsa, Oklahoma. 3rd down and 7. Ball on the 37-yard line. Newton has gone the distance. Sanders, left side. He is stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
You know, we talked at the beginning of the telecast, the 3 things that Colorado State had to do was contain Machete, not allow a deep pass. They allowed one on a blown assignment, and reestablish with this man the running game. I think they've been successful in the 3 keys, as we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, in order to win this football game.
Colorado has called a timeout, and they're getting ready to dump the proverbial Gatorade. They already got him. Well, he's wet. Gets a hug from his star, McDougal. A very happy Colorado State team, snapping an 8-game losing streak to Colorado. Last time since '86. And here it is, the replay. Artie, you got to illustrate this.
Yeah, you got to illustrate it. Poor old Sonny. You know, he got it a little bit more in his pants. than he did his shoulder. And he got out of the way there pretty good.
It was quick, wasn't it?
Quick. I hated those things because, you know what, you feel like heck in the locker room. You know, nobody brings you a new shirt. You know, nobody gives you a towel. And you got to stand out there in the cold with the wetness on your back. Very uncomfortable. Yeah, but it's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. I'm sure Gary Barnett will have his time here at Colorado. Final 40 seconds. 28-0 at halftime. The score, Colorado State. They went up 35-0 at the end of 3. Added a couple of field goals here in the fourth quarter. Colorado kept scratching away to at least get on the board, and they did. Turnovers and sacks have been the story. And that man has been the story. The rushing of Kevin McDougal combined with 8 sacks by their defense. A couple of interceptions, one for a touchdown. End of story. Put it in the books. It's history. And Colorado will take over on downs. Machete stays in. Straight drop. Pass over the middle, and it is complete to Eric McCready. Good catch by the junior out of Cherry Hills Village, Colorado. Nickname him the Plumber.
He's also the best blocking wide receiver that Colorado has because he's the biggest. Big 6'4", 210 pounds.
Now, Cormier has snuck out of into the lineup, and he is way left, and now Colorado State finally covers him up. Machete's looking for it, but he is going to be dropped again.
Now, that was a 3-man rush that time, and defensive linemen love those situations because you can just put your rear end in the air and rear back and go rush the passer. Wow, what a way to end this football game for Sonny Lubick and Colorado State.
It is over. Colorado State has upset the number 14 team in the country. And they did it convincingly. 41-14 is the final. Kevin McDougal, the big rushing star, almost 190 yards rushing on his own. Mike Machete put up a good fight, but he had problems with the interceptions and the sacks as he was dropped 9 times tonight. And that is the story, as Colorado drops their opener 41-14 to in-state rival.
And welcome to the Invesco Rocky Mountain Showdown post-game edition. Mark Stout and Dave Logan back with you outside Mile High Stadium. I'll tell you, Dave, I was thinking throughout this game, the 41-14 final. It was almost 42-14 like last year that Gary Barnett wanted to return to dominance. I'm thinking RTD really totally dominated by CSU. What a game.
I'll tell you what, I think there's some fired-up CSU fans behind us, and rightfully so. That was a dominating performance by CSU tonight in every aspect of the game. Offensively, they did what they had to do. They ran the football effectively. Defensively, completely shut down CU for the most part and held their own special teams.
And I don't think that was a surprise to you. You expected a dogfight out of Sonny's team. They love being the underdog.
Well, I knew the Sonny's defense was pretty good, and I think maybe underestimated a bit coming into this game. And CSU had been very quiet in the weeks prior to this contest, unlike last year. So I think they played perfectly going into the game and played almost perfectly in the game.
You know, something that I've got to ask Dave Logan as the head coach of AOS and a high school guy. You know Kevin McDougal. He was hurt last year, 2 years ago. Phenomenal. 13 touchdowns, 1,111 yards. He looks like he's healthy, huh?
He's a great player and a better guy, just a great kid, and he's healthy this year. Unlike last year, after the Michigan State game, he came in with a banged-up shoulder and really wasn't himself, but I thought they got him off early, really controlled the game on the ground, and Kevin McDougal, just a sensational night.
Yeah, Kevin McDougal only had 11 carries last year in that loss by CSU. Now, what happened to, Gary Barnett, this is his first game. People are going to, I already heard people behind me saying, bring back Neuheisel. A little early, but it's tough to get off to a good start with teams no matter what.
Well, I mean, this is obviously not how the script was supposed to go for a CU fan, and I'm sure a very, very tough loss for Gary Barnett. But he'll regroup. He's been through this before. He's a veteran coach and a guy that is not going to throw the season down the drain. That's to get these kids back together and try to go and get a win next week.
Yeah, Barnett's a guy, obviously the coach in the Big Ten at Northwestern. He knows what losses are like and how to rebound from them. But CSU was really totally dominated in this game. Were you surprised, MAS Dave Logan, about Mike Machete having really hardly any options and getting sacked a lot?
Well, I thought CSU did a nice job again. Really, they took the CU running game away, and CU wanted to come in and run the football. And then they kept Machete in the pocket for the most part. They didn't allow him to get outside and utilize what his skills are, and that is getting out and making some plays on the run. CSU defensively just dominated the line of scrimmage, and then once they got ahead, they forced Colorado to throw all the time. They brought pressure off the secondary, off the edges, and they just completely shut down CU's offense.
So obviously the next thing I was going to talk about is that, again, the Buffs just could not run the ball. They can't get the running game going, and when that happens, they're forced to pass, and the interceptions and all kinds of turnovers.
No question about it. And again, as we talked about, they wanted to run the ball coming in. They couldn't run the ball early, and then again, as CSU got ahead, they couldn't run the ball because they were behind. And CSU's defense, we had talked about them earlier in the show about how good they may be this year. When Sonny Lubick says privately, this may be my best defensive team, I think you have to take note of that.
Dave Logan talking about Sonny Lubick. We're going to go down to the sidelines. Eric Clemens is with the winning head coach, Sonny Lubick. Eric?
All right, guys, thank you very much. Sonny Lubick, unbelievable. I mean, you guys got out, you set the tone early. What did you tell them? First of all, you get an interception return for a touchdown. You make all the big plays in the first half. What was the message at half, number one?
The message at halftime was one that usually backfires on me. I got him around. I said, men, the first 5 minutes of this half is going to set the tone. They're going to come out and give us their best shot. We received the ball and took that thing 80 yards, and just like you draw it up on the blackboard, and that was it. And I start to feel comfortable at that point. But I'm just so proud of our football players and our coaches. Our fans been waiting for this thing for 50 years.
You said yesterday when we spoke to you that you just wanted to feel proud of your guys walking off this field. Whether you won or lost really didn't matter a whole lot, but if you guys really gave it your all, you got to be very proud of your guys, especially of a guy named Kevin McDougal. Huh?
Oh, great effort by him, and so many guys on defense also, but it's a lot. You're a heck of a lot prouder when you win, I guess. And so we're going to go celebrate this one. Our players, I don't even think they know the significance of this victory for the fans here that suffered through this stuff for 50 years. So I hope they all celebrate. I hope they tear Fort Collins down. I hope we have a good time.
All right, Coach, congratulations. Thank you very much. Mark and Dave, let's go back up to you guys.
All right, Eric. Hope they tear Fort Collins down. I do know that there are some CU student leaders that are going to have to sit on a billboard in Fort Collins for at least a day and get ridiculed, and they will. Hey, when we come back here to the Mile High parking lot outside the stadium, we're going to take a look at the first quarter, which was all CSU. The Rams win the second annual Invesco Rocky Mountain Showdown.